Oh, good evening and welcome to, well, we've got a great race here tonight. And Matt Hunter is in the broadcast booth in the house. And this is Steve Hoppett on the commentary. And if I sound a little bit foggy, then there's a reason for that, and the same reason that I haven't raced for the last few weeks. But could not stand the thought of poor old Mark the Swede Johansson being stuck in the commentary booth when he wanted to race this round. This is round one for the Weekend Warriors of the Inside Lane Productions Triple Crown.
Yeah, good evening, Steve. It is indeed. It's round one. I'm just having a look here for the information. Obviously, I've just jumped in last minute just to help out, and yeah, round one of the Inside Lane Productions Triple Crown, and we are at Nashville Super Speedway tonight. I did have this information. I think I put it in there. I think it's 263 laps tonight.
Yeah, 263 laps, Matt, and it's round 19 of the actual regular season. So yeah, I'll stay here for as long as I can and give you boys a hand. It's not one of my favourite tracks, I know that. So we'll see how we end up tonight.
Indeed. It is a very, very tricky track. Obviously, of course, it's a concrete track. One of, I think, there's three of them on the circuit.
Yeah, the other two being Bristol and Dover. They're the only three that are full cement racing surface.
Excellent. I'm just having a little look at the track information there, but it doesn't look to be showing up correctly. I thought this was a 1.5, so which is interesting.
Nah, it's 1.333 something.
Okay, showing up in the information that I've got on the overlay on screen as a 1 miler. So that's a bit wrong. We'll just check out the weather conditions as well, just before we jump into qualifying. So obviously, you can see there the temperature, the air temperature is 27 degrees, and the track temperature is 29 degrees. The cloud cover is partly cloudy, and it is time of day in sim as 6:44, and a little bit of wind, a little bit of a northerly, 18 kilometre an hour northerly going on there, and as we see, that practice session has finished now, and we will start getting ready to go into qualifying.
Looks like we may have lost Steve, mate.
It's not a great start.
No, I won't worry about qualifying. I'll just sacrifice, do what I normally do, and jump up here and give the race a call with you.
Oh no! You jump in, Mark. It's one of your Triple Crown races. You should jump in a race. I will just waffle on, and people will have to put up with me waffling on and learning on the fly.
I'll see how I go, mate.
Jump in.
I'm not real good at this track, so I'll just start from the back and work my way through. It's a little bit of a strange track. It can be very tight coming into the night race, and yeah, so I think it may catch a few people out.
Just seeing the start of qualifying here. We're just gonna jump and just keep an eye on Adam Malone in the 3 car and see how he goes for his qualifying laps. As he goes around for the start of his first lap now. Driving it in nice and hard there into turn 1 and 2. Wanting to get a good exit there. Out to the wall. It's looking good so far. Dives it into 3 and 4. Just want to watch for a little bit of push on the exit of 4 here. He's done a good job. He's kept it off the wall. Great run. Cut down low. That's his first lap done. So he 0.149 of a second behind the car in first place after his first lap. So on his second lap here, his tyres should be a bit more up to temperature and pressure's built in them. So let's see how he goes. Oh, big into that drop out there. Wonder if that's going to valid the lap or not. No, it's got a second lap done. So, looks like his first lap was the best one out of those 2 laps there. And we'll just see if we've got some more cars out there trying. Jump in with Kobe Jordan. He is on his first lap, I believe, is Kobe. Crosses the line there. 10th spot on that first lap. Looks like a good run out of turn 1 and 2 there. Coming down the back straight. Coming across the line for the to enter second qualifying lap. Doesn't look like he improved on his first lap, so yes he did. That's a good lap. Just jumped all the way from 10th up to 4th there, just 0.062 of a second behind the leaders. Just took a little bit of a delay getting our information to come through on his lap time. So just having a little bit of a look through the rest of the field at the qualifiers. I believe everyone has done their qualifying that is going to do their qualifying. There are a number of cars that have not gone out on track, but I believe that they won't be. Don't believe that they're going to be doing a qualifying lap. So we'll just have to see as Noddy's struggling across the grass there, but he's got a lap done, so he's in the 14th spot. So it's looking pretty good. Pretty quiet on the track at the moment. There is no real cars out there running around. It's just Tristan ending his run, coming in. Dave Douglas there has done his run.
Since we've got no cars out there, mate, I just want to welcome aboard our new sponsor for tonight, the Inside Lane Productions. They only come on board late last night where a deal was done. So welcome aboard, guys, and make sure you stop by their Facebook page, and they do everything that a sim racer can need: gear shifts, button boxes, and I'm led to believe they've even got some touch screen stuff coming.
Oh, nice. Excellent. Yeah, as everything sort of all come together real last minute on this one, in terms of the stream and the broadcast and the sponsors. So, yeah, apologies for the little bit of roughness and everything. But
And I will give out a big shout out to you, Matt, for jumping on board and giving us a hand at the last minute. So, thanks for that, mate. Muchly appreciate it.
Not a problem. All right. Well, let's you jump in the car, Mark, and you get ready to go, and I will try and get a good camera shot, and we'll run through the field and do a run through the grid. So, I don't think this grid's going to run properly. No, it's not, because I've set the grid up to run for the other broadcast I do. But we can do it through this way.
All right, mate. You can name them. We're not ashamed. Matt's does the ends car, so
yeah, just with the way we run the session there of qualifying and stuff, I've got the broadcast, the start grid set up to show it that way, which is in a particular different way to this one. But that's all right. I can run through the this list here and give us the top 15. So we'll see. And first we'll have Dyson with his teammate O'Shea in second. Third is Edward Foster. Fourth, Kobe Jordan. Rolling off fifth will be Dave Douglas. Ruben Phelps will be rolling off sixth. Michael Skurlock in seventh. Adam Malone in eighth. Stephen Williams in ninth in the bright green car there. Darren McKenzie, the defending race winner, I believe, and the number one car there, he's running off 10th. Jamie Nankervis 11th. Mark Smith in 12th. Justin Witcher 13th. 14th will be Noddy Tompkins. 15th, Tristan Koch. Paul Drady will be running 16th. Brad Allison 17th. Brad Finley in 18th. Brett Campbell in 19th. Peter Gretton in the 087 will be running off 20th. Derek Jacobs in 21st. Matthew Raymond in the 83 car there will be 22nd. Norman Clark, 23rd. Aiden Schultz, 24th. Christopher Tomlin will be number 25, running off 25. Adam Ariel, it will be in the 55 car there, the beautiful Excite car is running off 26th, and Mark Johansson will be starting from the rear of the field in 27th position.
See how can go getting up through the field, mate.
Nice and
Sorry,
steady.
gentlemen, I lost my internet.
Oh. That's good.
Did the big intro and passed across to Matt, and nothing happened.
Excellent. So cars are all forming up here now. Be one lap to green. So just keep an eye on them here.
Yeah, I came in while you were actually doing the start grid there, Matt. So, yeah, look, sorry about that, gentlemen. Sorry about that to all the viewers. I have absolutely no idea how much of what I said went over. It was a great intro, too. I was pretty pleased with that. And all of a sudden I realised there was nobody else there.
That's good. I think we caught some of it. But
Okay, so we've got Dyson in first position, going to lead things away, and he's going to be fighting off O'Shea and Foster, and away we go with the first round of the Triple Crown. And as they make their way around, Dyson holding that lead, and O'Shea, and then Foster, and then we've got a couple of other, what do we got? Car 80.
Kobe Jordan there in the 080 and the orange car there on the outside.
And then Dave Douglas, of course, in the number 10 for DD's Casting Couch.
Good run on the high line there by Kobe on that corner there. I'm a fan of the high line on this track where possible. Whereas we see him undercut here, and he's going to try and pass the 53 on the inside there.
Yeah, the line here, Matt, as you said, the high line, I don't know.
Once the tyres wear, it's good.
the tyre wear is going to be the real issue here. This track's very specific on where you need to run if you want to conserve rubber.
It is indeed, and you probably do have to conserve your tyres a little bit. There's going to be some good long runs here, so that could be part of it as well. Sometimes you think you're going really, really fast, but it's actually just the other guys are conserving their tyres more than you.
Yeah, well, that's it. You've got to keep an eye on what line other people are running as well as your own, and as they come around to complete lap 3, and we're on to lap 4, and Inside Lane Productions sponsoring this one tonight for the Triple Crown on Weekend Warriors for our Cup Series, and as stated, this is round 1 of the Triple Crown, which is 3 tracks obviously, but Nashville Super Speedway, Daytona and Talladega, I believe. And we've got Brad Allison making somebody's life a little bit miserable. That looked like it may have been
Justin Witcher, the 21, I believe. Yeah.
And he's all over him in the mirrors there, so letting his presence be known. And somebody else being pushed to the outside there with one of the Goodyear cars staying to the inside line.
Yeah, I think there's a few Goodyear cars out there tonight from teammates there, so it's going to be a bit hard for us just to sort of work out exactly which one's which. But Mark's doing pretty good. Started from 27th up to 21st already, so he wasn't too confident about racing on this track, but he's doing pretty well so far. Just needs to keep it nice and straight and tidy.
I believe that Goodyear car we were talking about was the 015 of Brett Campbell.
Brett Campbell, yep.
And I believe Ruben Phelps may be the other Goodyear vehicle. I'm not sure.
We'll just have a look and see.
Yeah, there's the 07 of Mark Smith and the 550 of Tristan.
So there's 3 cars out there tonight. So 3 Goodyear vehicles with Mark Smith in the 07. Yep. And as I think we're taking a little bit of a look at there's 2 of the team cars there at the moment. And there's the 06 of Ruben Phelps is also out there.
Yeah, he's in a bit of a battle at the moment around I think it's the Southern Stars team. Apologies if I got that wrong.
Yeah,
Um,
he's in a bit of a Southern Stars sandwich there at the moment, Matt.
yeah, he's got Darren McKenzie in front of him and Adam Malone behind him.
Yeah, and strangely enough, these guys all used to be team members at one time or another in a couple of different teams. And number one there, I think, is that Darren McKenzie.
Yep.
Number three, I'm not sure who that is.
Adam Malone's in the number 3 car.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's Adam in number 3, is it?
Yep.
And is that Aiden Schultz probably out there somewhere in the 52 as well?
Yeah, Aiden's just in the 19th spot at the moment, just battling Justin Witcher there for the 19th. So
Yeah,
he's
so
another one
sorry
down.
to sound a bit like I don't know what the hell's going on, because I don't after my internet dropping out like that, and I'm just playing a little bit of catch up, ladies and gentlemen. So we'll get there at some point. Plus, I'm not looking at the biggest picture here at the moment. Well, I finished getting my triple screen race rig up and running. I'll be able to actually take a much better look at it. These poor old eyes are struggling a little bit in a 27-inch screen.
Just about your comment about the teammates. Well, if you look hard enough throughout the field, a lot of these guys have been teammates with one another at some point. There's a lot of guys out there that I've been teammates with at some point as well.
Well, I was actually teammates with about 3 of those guys who were in that pack that we were talking about for about 2 weeks. It just didn't work out.
Yeah.
These things happen.
No, I've been in a handful of teams and the
Sometimes you race well with people, and then just you have a different vision of where you want to be and what you want to be doing, and sometimes it's best just to part ways.
Yeah, I think from my experience, it's hard to get a good group together who are all on the same, all want the sort of the same things from sim racing. Some people want to go a bit more hard out, and some people want to go a bit more casual. But it's each to their own, really. And then you've got to get the personalities clicking as well. But yeah.
Well, that's the thing, and to be honest, Aiden Schulz and pardon me, Ruben Phelps. Yeah, they were in the same team there for a while. It was a team they created, and when that team dissected itself, and for whatever reason, and however, they actually ended up going separate ways not long after that to different teams, and it was a little bit surprising not to see them in the same team, but a little bit more friendly rivalry there, I think, because they used to be teammates.
Yeah, it's a funny thing. I know that I sometimes end up around my old teammates on track, and we still work together like we're in a team anyway. So,
well, I always try to get along with everybody in the field. That way, they don't know when I'm giving them a bit of a nudge through payback, or they think it's either a mistake or I just didn't mean to do it.
Just looking on the track here, we just got a bit of a battle heating up here for second position with O'Shea and Jordan, and Foster's just keeping a watching brief on that at the moment. Dyson is cleared out to a 0.8 of a second lead at the moment, just running away nicely. He's in a good reign of form with this car at the moment.
Yeah, look, I think Dyson's had a really good run lately. He's pulled off a couple of races at a podium, I think, in the last 3 weeks or so. Dylan O'Shea, I think he's been a little bit up and down in his results. I mean, he hasn't raced all that badly, but it's just I think his end results haven't been probably what he would have hoped. And then we've got Kobe Jordan in 3rd place.
Yeah.
Speaking of Inside Lane Productions, I believe that's Kobe's outfit that he's sponsored by.
Yeah.
And we've also Dave Douglas, who's still sitting in 5th. Edward Foster, I believe, in 4th. And we've got a gaggle of well-known, big names there behind them. Alison Malone, then Mark Smith back in 14th. Paul Drady, who's a fairly consistent competitor and jumps into just about everything. Mark Johansson, sitting back in, I believe, 20th spot at the moment.
Nice. As we've just seen a pass for 3rd place there. Foster has made that pass. just noticed a few laps back, Jordan was getting a bit loose off the corner there, possibly overheating the tyres, the rear tyres a little bit. And Foster was able to just capitalise on that and set up a move and get past into third, and sort of sailing away there.
Big move by Edward.
Possibly, yeah, and possibly throws back to, I think, at the start of the race, Edward might have seen, wanted to back his pace down a little bit, save his tyres a little bit more, and let Kobe go, and Kobe might have just overheated his tyres just a little bit, and Foster's taken advantage of that.
Yeah, well, that's it. I mean, Kobe is quite a capable driver. He'll probably, what he should now do, he sort of prove that he's pushed it a little bit too hard there. I'd say trying to stay somewhere on the back of Edward Foster would be the best plan for him at the moment.
Yep.
Sitting in fourth place, Edward knows what he's about. If he's just going to follow Edward, I can think of worse things to do for the first quarter of this race. As we click over lap 19 of 263, there is a very long way to go, Matt.
Yeah, and these are going to be very long green flag runs, I'd say. So, yeah, I would, if it was me in Kobe's shoes, I'd be using Edward as my gauge, really. So, if I'm catching him, then I need to back off my pace and just stay on the back of him. And he's a very experienced driver, and it keeps you from overdriving the car, and going too fast. So, yeah.
That's exactly right, and that's obviously what he did before that, which gave Edward the opportunity to move up a spot. So as we both said, Kobe now needs to concentrate on just getting a nice, long, consistent run in. I'm not going to say it's impossible, and we will probably get some late cautions, but this tends to be a track where a lot of the action as far as cautions and incidents tends to come reasonably early. Once you start to get long greens here, it tends to calm down, and you get less and less of them. Usually the early stages, the early laps, is where you'll find that there's a bit of biff and barge and that sort of stuff, and the last few laps. This track in particular, they tend to single file and spread out a little bit more once you get to about that 20 or 30 lap stage. And if we haven't had a caution by now, then I'd say it's probably going to be a while before we get one.
Yeah, I think if the track's and the car combo is difficult to drive, you're going to see those cautions early. You're going to see guys lose the car early, and then that'll knock them out of the race early. And that's why you'll get the longer green flag runs, as we see Douglas make a pass there for fourth position. And then in this scenario here, where the car is and track combo is, I don't know, for lack of a better word, easier to hold on to, you're going to see long green flag runs, and then your cautions near the end are probably going to be caused by fatigue, really, just mental fatigue from having to concentrate for a couple hours driving laps.
Well, we've got a quarter of the race must be completed in order to be classified as a finisher in this one, and the race length, obviously 263 laps, as we've already mentioned, or 350 miles, 563 kilometres in length is the total race distance, because the track is 1.33 miles or 2.14 kilometres. I actually don't mind this track. It's hard on tyres, and you've got to really have your wits about you. Pre-race, I was discussing a Weekend Warriors race in the Truck Series here earlier this year, or at the end of last year, and my whole strategy was with 3 sets of tyres, including the starter set, and only 2 over the wall. My entire strategy here was to make the first set of tyres last at least 50% race distance, and then try and work on the last 70 or the last half, because it was 140 laps, being for the other 2 sets, so then I could push a little bit harder, and surprised myself entirely when I actually worked to the strategy and brought it home about 9th or 10th or something. So it can be done, and you've just got to have a bit of discipline. I'm not a very disciplined driver, and I certainly wouldn't instruct anybody else on how to drive. All I can say is what worked for me, and on the one time that I remember being a disciplined driver, it worked.
Well, we're seeing a great example of it. We're seeing Kobe is dropping like a stone at the moment. He's down to seventh, about to be past, or Ruben in eighth spot is attacking him for seventh spot now. Kobe's not fighting it. Just as the cars catch him and pass him, he's just, he's not putting up too much of a fight, which is a good idea. But possibly he ran a little bit too hard too early, and he's, put a little bit of extra head into those tyres, and you're seeing the other drivers sort of using that long run pace that, the Skurlocks, Douglas, Mackenzies, who were down the order at the start of the race, have just slowly worked their way up as the tyres are burning off or heading up for the others.
And this is where the strategy part comes in of what I was talking about. You don't burn up your tyres. If you go, well, I've got 3 sets of tyres to last, however many laps. You make a decision pre-race by looking at how hard the tyre wear is here from previous races. It's the smartest thing you can do. There's lots of these on YouTube. Your different kinds of cars, take a look at how people drove it, how they drive it in the real world, the e-Coca-Cola series, and you look at how these guys drive it, and the experienced guys that are starting to come to the fore now, as you mentioned, with Ruben Phelps and Darren McKenzie, who were down a little bit, but now they're starting to come through as guys are burning up their rubber. These guys know what they need to do to make the tyres last to a certain point in the race, depending on what strategy they want to run. And you'll probably find that quite a few of these guys are aiming at roughly the same strategy for tyre wear.
Yeah, I think so indeed.
I mean, they've raced against each other, well, long enough that certainly the number of times now that each of them have got a pretty good idea, about, Darren's got a good idea when Ruben's likely to pit and vice versa. Brad Allison has got a good idea about where he wants to pit. It'll all come down to tyre strategy. And like I said, with that strategy worked for me at this track, to get through the first 50% of the race on the first set of tyres, it's very difficult to do. It's certainly not an easy thing, because the biggest battle you've got there is to still go fast enough and be competitive enough to stay on the lead lap. You don't want to be dropping a lap or two down because of tyre strategy, and then hoping that there's caution periods to make it up afterwards. You've still got to go fast enough that you can stay on that lead lap, so that when you get into the later stages of the race and you're able to push it a bit harder because you don't need your rubber to last as long, then simply you've got to be in a position. If you're 2 or 3 laps down because of tyre strategy and you don't want to push them too hard, you've already sort of drilled a hole in the bottom of your boat that's going to sink sooner or later.
Yeah, it's a tough thing. You've got to work it out on the fly. What's a good pace, what's not a good pace, and it's a fine balance between protecting that and looking after your equipment and staying on the lead lap as well and giving yourself an opportunity late in the race, because with these long green flag runs, you get in 60, 70 laps, you might be finding that the leaders are coming around and getting ready to lap you. But at the moment, the gaps are not too bad. We're only seeing about the 10th place car is only 6.7 of a second behind. 15th is only 7.1, so yeah, there's not too big a gaps in terms of time there.
It's certainly at the stage in the race where Kobe Jordan shouldn't suffer too badly. He may have maybe pushed a little hard, gave the opportunity to some guys to pick up a spot, and he was going to drop back a couple. He needs to stay on that lead lap, and with 6 sets of tyres, which is something that I was working my way into and got sidetracked, with 6 sets of tyres, I imagine that's the starter set and 5 over the wall. So 6 sets of tyres into 263 laps, it's not as imperative. You're not trying to get 70 or 80 laps out of a set of tyres.
No.
So yeah, 6 into 200 and what was it?
263.
263. So you're looking at 45, 50 laps tops out of a set of tyres. That would leave you with a decent set at the end to make a real push.
Mm.
and that you've only really got to last, say, 20 laps. And 20 laps around here is just, if you push hard, that's really the tyres are going to be getting a little bit ragged by the end of that. But if you can put yourself in a position where you've got a brand new set of tyres left with 20 laps to go, as long as you're on the lead lap, you're in with a real chance here.
Indeed, yeah, and you do want to make sure you keep a set for the end just in case there's a late caution. Because if you've got a fresh set of tyres and nobody else has, you're going to make up a ton of positions on a late caution.
Oh, absolutely. It's going to be all about, as we said, just staying on the lead lap or being no more than one lap down and getting that lucky dog and pulling that lap back in the very late stages of the race.
Indeed. Just we've been talking, I've just been keeping an eye on this battle at the front here. Foster was able to get past O'Shea, and then Skurlock was able to get past O'Shea, and they have caught up to the back of Dyson. That's now looking at, yeah, Foster's under 0.3 of a second now behind Dyson and catching.
Yeah,
So,
you can see that gap's on a bit of a rubber band there, Matt, and as he comes through the turns, Edwards seems to be closing right up on Dyson, with Skurlock following in his trail, and they get to the straights, and of course Dyso's still got enough pace to put another car length or two between him and Edward Foster. So, but at the same time, Edward has gotten where he is probably because Dyso pushed his tyres a little harder than Edward did. And
yeah, as we see Skurlock in the background, he got really loose off turn 4 there, so that'll hurt his tyres a bit.
well, we've clicked over lap. We're on lap 40, so that's 40 laps of tyre life, and some of these guys have obviously pushed harder than others. Edward will probably get a few more laps out of these than Dyso will, which will put him at the front before he has to pit, I'd say.
Yeah, I'm just having a little look around here and seeing how we are going for fuel. So I think from our notes that we were given, we're looking at around about 60 laps for tyres and about 67 to 73 laps on fuel.
Okay, that's very interesting. It's going to be really interesting to see what these guys can do with that. And what I find now is what we were talking about before, that great first sort of few laps that Kobe got, I'm not even seeing him in the top 15 anymore. So that's probably hurt him going for the big push at the start. And you can see Edward Foster is actually a car length off the back bumper of Andrew Dyson now. He's going to be passing him very, very shortly. So I'd say Edward has managed his tyres much better than what those front three guys from DBR did, because that was in that front four there were 3 DBR cars, and Dyso's the only one out the front now. I think O'Shea is back to 4th behind Skurlock, but he doesn't seem to be in a position to really challenge Michael Skurlock at this point. Edwards just really all over the back of him, and I think there's the move, Matt.
Yeah, I think Dyson's sort of struggling a little bit at the moment. We have had some cars hit pit road, so the reason why Kobe Jordan is now showing in 25th is he has been to pit road, and it looks like 4 tyres and fuel stop there. And Darren McKenzie has also been on pit road as well, but his pit stop was 12 seconds longer than Kobe's one, so I'm not sure if there was maybe a little bit of a penalty there or a little bit of damage for him to repair.
It could have been damage, and it could have also been maybe Kobe took 2 tyres. I'm not sure.
I think the 14 seconds. Yeah, I wouldn't take 2 tyres on this because if you're having to get a full tank of gas, that'll cover getting you the 4 tyres anyway. And yeah, I think with the sets of tyres available, I'd take 4.
I agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
I would never take 2 tyres at this track.
Not on this track.
In fact, I don't take 2 tyres at any track. If I'm going to get tyres, I take 4 tyres and I'm done.
Yeah.
But by lap, he pulled in on somewhere around lap 43, 44. That basically means he would have been running on just about fumes, I'd say. So he needed that as far as fuel was concerned. So taking 4 tyres while you're getting a full service of fuel just makes sense.
Yeah, you're already going to be sitting there stationary anyway. You might as well grab them. The only time you really see benefit of 2 tyres if it's a splash near the end of a race.
road
Yeah.
course, maybe somebody who's got the experience on a road course may look at taking 2, depending on which track it is, Charlotte Roval or
At,
Daytona, whatever.
well, at the moment, the
Um,
way this car's set up, no one takes tyres because you don't need to, because they don't wear, they get better, which is
well,
crazy,
yeah,
but that's another story. But yeah, we're seeing Skurlock here in the 350 in third place. He is catching up on the back now of Dyson in second place, so he looks like he might be looking to mount a challenge to take away second.
it's definitely put a noticeable gap on Daiso. So Daiso will be waiting for the chance to throw some rubber at that car and get some fuel on it. Hopefully he worked out something from that first stint, which will help him on the second stint. If these guys aim for 45 to 50 laps out of a set of tyres, I think there's every chance you can find some of these guys on the lead lap having 20 laps to go and a fresh set of rubber available to them, which will really open up the close of this race.
Yeah, I think we'll see them push to at least 60, I think, these lead lap cars right at the front there. Something I did think about as well with Dyson there is he was out the front running on his own for a bit, so he would have been using a bit more fuel doing that, so he might be just, sort of backing off a little bit to save the fuel to just extend the run a little bit. If we said, I think our estimates was 67 laps for fuel, so maybe running out the front he might have, dropped down to 63 or 64 laps, so he might be just trying to get a couple of that, push that run out a bit.
I would probably expect to see these 4 guys at the front pit together sometime in the next couple of laps.
Yep.
If you go in as 4 cars, you can come out as 4 cars, and you don't really drop off a lot.
Yeah, and I can't think of any real benefit of mixing up strategies at the moment. If I was in this front bunch, I would just do what everybody else is doing for now.
Exactly right, and there are some times where that gives you more consistency than pretty much anything else. There's no need to be different to everybody else when you're in this situation.
No.
My crew chief has just told me I've got 23 laps of fuel left.
So 73 laps. So around that 70 lap mark. Just jump back here. I saw a bit of a battle going on back here.
Yeah, sorry, having a bit of a coughing fit there. What was that with Mark's numbers?
So Mark's crew chief is telling him he's got 23 more laps of fuel, so he's probably going to make it to probably around about 72, 73 laps.
So this is all coming down to tyres and the way people have driven that first stage on the starting rubber then by the looks of it.
I think so, yeah.
Because I'd say that although there'll be some differences in numbers, I'd say it won't be that big a difference between the front guys and the mid-pack guys on their fuel numbers. It'll all be about tyres.
Indeed. Sorry, my timing screen just lit up and I was wondering what was going on there. As we see, what's that in the background, getting a little bit sideways off the corner. Not sure who that was. Might have been Noddy Tompkins. Having a good run so far, up to 12th. There's a real bit of a battle pack just up in front of Noddy here, sort of around the 8th place, Stephen Williams in the green car. Who's just got passed by Aiden.
Stephen Williams, Mark Smith's in the 07 Goodyear car there.
Yeah, so there's a real bit of a battle going on here.
I mean, to be perfectly honest, he's actually dragging Kobe Jordan along with him from Inside Lane Productions, who are sponsoring this first round of the Triple Crown for Weekend Warriors. And Kobe's just made a move there on Mark Smith, but I certainly wouldn't go into panic mode on that. I was just about to mention I expect to see Mark at the pointy end towards the last few laps of this race. He's just that kind of a driver. Probably in the ilk, in a way, of Barry Neal. He's got a strategy, tends to drive to it, and tends to put himself at the right spot at the right time of the race later on.
Yeah, and the other thing you got to remember there is Kobe is actually 1 lap down on fresh tyres. So that's why he's cutting through the field there. He's his last lap.
He's 1 lap himself, yeah.
Yep. So he's on a lot fresher tyre than those cars he was just around.
Yeah, that's my usual trick at Las Vegas when we've got unlimited rubber. Go down a couple of laps, just keep stopping for new new tyres and then just drive past everybody off with 10 laps to go and get yourself back up into a decent position. So, yeah, not the greatest of strategies, but it's fun.
In terms of lap times, Kobe's last lap was a 31.185 and Foster's was a 31.6, so yeah, half a second he's seeing now after 16, 17 laps. I think when he first came out, he was about a second or so. I think
Yeah,
faster.
unfortunately for Kobe, although it's still fairly early, I mean, we're on lap 56 of 263. We believe we've been incident-free up until this point. Now that I stop and think about it, I don't recall seeing that we've had a caution at all. So
No
he's
cautions
sitting in
so far.
24th position, so fresh rubber will only get him so far until he pushes it too hard to unlap himself and then move back through the field and just destroys the tyres he's got.
Yeah, well, the real issue he has is that if we look at Edward Foster, who's at the lead of the race, and we look at this information here, his last lap time was a 31.8. His fastest lap time is a 30.5. So there's only a 1.5 second a lap drop off after 58 laps. So that's not that much of a drop off. So
Well, a lot of that's to do with the line that Edward's taking, which we discussed earlier in the race. This track is very line sensitive. What works at other tracks doesn't necessarily work here, and that sort of thing. But Daiso's got the right moves on at the moment. He's obviously got the fuel, I'd say, after what we were talking about with Mark earlier.
Yep.
But his tyre's probably just not as good as what Edward's got. And he's just simply sitting there trying to put some pressure on Edward and follow him through, taking the same line that Edward Foster's taking and waiting for an opportunity. I don't know whether he's going to have the rubber to make a move on Edward, though. That's going to be interesting to see.
yeah, it's definitely, I think, because we're getting to the end of the run where the cars are going to be looking at pitting, I think these guys are just doing one last push to try and get as much out of it as they can.
Daiso's had enough of following. He's actually made
Yep.
the move and he's put himself back in front of
So-
Edward Foster. So Dyson leads this. Foster back to second and Skurlock in third. I think he's still fighting off Dylan O'Shea.
Yeah, see, and O'Shea's come back up as well. So all four of them have all compressed again. But I think, yeah, they're really just trying to push the last little bit out of these tyres before they jump in and grab them fresh ones.
Yeah, because it's going to come down to when the tyres have really had enough. Obviously, the fuel load for this race is going to see them have a fairly long run. It's just a matter of how they treat their tyres and whether they can get the two to coincide with one another, and that's not going to happen for a lot of these guys. Quite a few of these guys are going to be pulling in the pits with 10, 15, 18 laps of fuel, but the tyres are basically past their use-by date.
Yeah,
I will say one thing. I'm happy to see that the lights have finally come on.
were you getting a bit worried, were you?
I was sure this track had night lighting, and yeah.
Yeah, that was, if for anybody who's actually not aware of what Mark's referring to there was a race at, what was it, Atlanta.
Atlanta.
And last week, I think it was, on Wednesday night, and or it might have been the week before, and the lights did not come on. We had the light towers.
Yes.
But funnily enough, that was also in the midst of them changing across to the new Atlanta layout,
Which still doesn't have lights.
which has the light towers but still doesn't have lights.
Yeah, so just for everybody to
I
get
put
up.
that on a YouTube video, somebody captured that.
Yeah, so just to get everybody up to speed, I'm the admin for that series, and yeah, I set up a race at Atlanta and didn't get any warning that there wasn't going to be any lights, and so we ended up calling the race off after 72 laps of scheduled 98 because it went pitch black. You couldn't see anything at all.
I was watching that, Matt, and believe me, my hat goes off to the guys in that race because
It was
they couldn't see anything and they still kept going.
the light faded, and we did.
I think the only lights out there were the ones on the dash.
Yeah, no, it was a really good effort from all drivers driving 72 laps caution free as the lights went as the sun set. So if you get a chance, have a look for it on YouTube for the Locked On Lads. Guys, they do the YouTube broadcast on that, and it's quite a hilarious stream to broadcast. But
that was the Locked On Lads Ange Car Thunder series from the last week or the week before. And if you find that, it's a great race. And I was actually watching the whole thing. And I'm sat there and it's getting darker and darker. And I thought, well, those lights are going to come on shortly. You know,
that's what I was thinking. The light towers were there.
Still going and still going. It's getting darker and getting darker. I'm thinking, I'm sure Atlanta's got lights. And it's getting darker and it's getting darker. I thought, oh my God, this is going to be a wreck fest here. But the guys really did well to just keep it going. And although it went beyond lap 72, I think it got pulled back to that point because it was the last time anybody could really see who was leading the race. I don't know.
Yeah, like it got, as we see Dave Douglas coming here and for a pit stop and 4 tyres and fuel. We're seeing a number of cars coming into the pits now. So as it got darker and darker, it was tougher and tougher. But then on lap 72, it just went completely pitch black and was chaos. So I decided to, at the moment where it went pitch black, I froze the field and awarded the positions from there.
Yeah, well, that was the real issue. Was you couldn't see there was chaos. That was the problem. It really was that dark. But now, look, my hat goes off to them because I thought the guys did considerably well. I would have expected a lot more carnage than what actually did end up taking place. So well done to the guys. And some of them were still lapping quite reasonably too. It's not like they backed off to a slow crawl or anything like that. There were times where somebody could go, I'm sure there's a car right in front of me. So they would lift a little bit until they were sure one way or the other. But yeah, very interesting night. And if you haven't seen that broadcast, then by all means check it out on replay from Locked On Lads on Facebook. And I think they're also on a couple of other social platforms. I'm not sure. But if you find them on Facebook for Locked On Lads, and then just go through, and it's the Ange Car Xfinity Thunder Series. But back to what we're actually looking at the moment as we hit lap 70 of 263, and all the green flag pit stops are starting to happen, and that's going to really hurt some people. But it is early. I mean, people need to keep in mind that there's still, like 193 laps to go. That's a long, long way. And if you're, even dropping a few spots, but you know more than, on the lead lap or half a lap off that, just 190 laps means that there's a long way to go to get yourself back in a decent position. And with green flag pit stops, everybody's on an equal footing. Everybody's going to suffer.
Yeah, it's so important to get onto pit road and get off pit road. Mistake 3. You cop a speeding penalty now and have to come back through for a drive-through. You'll be battling for the rest of the race to get back on the lead lap.
Trying not to lose your head, keep it calm, keep it cool, and just do everything as you normally would. Just because it's a green flag pit stop doesn't mean there's any reason to panic. There's a very, very long way to go in this race. As we just saw Edward Foster and Michael Skurlock complete their pit stops. And I believe that's Andrew Dyson, who was in the lead of this, been pushed back to second. He'll probably drop a few more spots, but that puts Dylan O'Shea out in the lead of this one, but he'll be due to pit as well.
Yeah, so we're definitely seeing a lot of the cars coming in now. I've sort of seen the timing screen light up with pit lane. Of course, if you're watching on YouTube, there is a link at the top for live timing, which is quite handy. You can have the broadcast stream on one screen if you've got 2 screens, and have the live timing going on the other screen. You can see lap times and pit stops and all that sort of stuff. But the majority of the field is pitted. I see only 3 cars that have not. As Justin Witcher's on pit road now. Dylan
Yep,
O'Shea's in his pit box getting 4 tyres. So it looks like everybody's getting their 4 tyres and fuel.
Yep, and with them all pitting almost right on top of one another, there'll be no real advantage here either as far as undercut's concerned.
No, well,
Um,
here's the benefit of the undercut. Kobe Jordan here in third, but he's about to be passed by Dave Douglas, who will now be the first car who has pitted. So because Kobe did pitted in earlier and got the benefit of that, 1 second a lap quicker times for a little bit.
Well, the downside for Kobe is that he did pit quite some time ago, so he's probably already got at least 10 or 12 laps on those tyres for
He's got 36 laps on those tyres so far.
36. Well,
Yep.
I knew it was a while ago. I just hadn't kept track. So there you go. So the guys that he's battling with have just pitted. They'll have fresh rubber. So poor old Kobe will be banging his head against the steering wheel trying to think, well, what have I got to do to get ahead here, because he'll be thinking, well, I might get an undercut. Well, he got the undercut, but the problem is when the guys around you also pit, that puts them on fresh rubber, and you've got, you've half used your tyres already. So, I think probably the best thing he can do is just continue on, and just push on. And if he gets lucky enough to get a caution, run in, fill it up, throw fresh rubber on, and be on the same platform and level as everybody else in the field.
Yeah, he's going to be looking at about 1.5 seconds a lap slower than everybody else now at the moment. So what was that, mate?
I was just going to say, I did 53 laps on that last set of tyres. My right front was down to 61%. Right rear was at 93%. Left front was at 84, and the left rear was at 87. But it was the heat that was killing it. The rights were up over 250 degrees Fahrenheit. So
wow, yep. And these tyres, I understand, once you hit a certain temperature point, they're just gone. If you can't get them under that temperature point, they become it feels like you've got no grip at all on that right front.
Yeah, that was the biggest problem, Matt. I was turning in, like I was trying to just keep my normal line, but just getting a big push through, more so through 1 and 2.
Well, you keep trucking on there, mate. Doing a good job.
Oh, I'm trying. 3 laps down. I'm not gonna get back unless someone wrecks out. So might get to half race, and then instead of being a chicane, just park it and come join you boys up there.
Have you done your 25% yet?
Yeah, I'm at just about to click over lap 80.
Oh, well, then you're pretty right then. Personally, mate, I'd say just push on.
Just keep going. You never know.
Yeah, push on. I mean, you never know where you'll finish. I think you said you did 3 laps down at the moment as we watch Dave Douglas make the move on Brad Allison.
Yeah,
in
put
the
Brad a
03.
lap down. Yep.
And so that I think puts Brad a lap down. Yep. And Dave's having a pretty reasonable run. Nothing sensational in it. Just
very solid. Yeah, very solid
smooth
run.
And just getting the job done.
Yep. No, he's been he's holding his own on lap time. His tyres are 5 laps fresher. 5 laps older than Foster in second. And in terms of lap time, he's probably only losing maybe 0.1 of a second a lap.
He's holding it at high 1.2s to 1.3s as far as the gap over Foster's concerned. So he doesn't seem to be setting the world on fire. He's just getting the job done. Dave Douglas been around for a very long time, and he knows what he needs to do. I've watched a couple of the wins he's actually taken lately, and I believe he's actually he's run one of the series he runs in. He's won it 2 weeks in a row. So he's having a bit of a run at the moment, is Dave Douglas, and he's certainly putting in the effort here without being a superstar about it.
Yeah, he's just quietly working his way up to the front. It's good to see.
Kobe Jordan, it's interesting to see, sitting in 7th after everything we've talked about this. So, I mean, he's fighting on, but at the same time, we were discussing how much older his tyres are. So at some point, he's going to start to drop positions as guys with fresher rubber come across him, and he's going to have to drive very, very smart to avoid dropping a very long way.
Yeah, he just needs to hold on. He's done 45 laps so far on this set of tyres, so he needs to try and squeak out another 25 laps or 20 laps at least at a minimum before he comes in.
He'll be praying for a caution so that he can duck in and throw fresh rubber on.
Mm-hmm.
And as I said, put himself on the same level with everybody else who's just pitted and gotten tyres. Because without that, he's probably got another 30, at least probably another 25 to 30 laps on those tyres. And all they're going to do is just continue to hurt him lap after lap, as he's got some, was that Stephen Williams? And I think one of the Southern Stars cars coming up on the top of him now.
Yeah, Aidan Schultz there in the 52 car, trying to make the pass on the inside of Stephen Williams in the 98 car.
Aidan will pass Kobe here as well, yep. And probably take Stephen Williams with him.
Yep. And smart use of the slower car as well. Sort of, Steve Williams actually unfortunately had no option there but just to roll out of it. So good car position there from Aidan.
Yeah, that allowed Aidan to put at least another couple of car spaces between him and Stephen Williams. So that sort of relieves the pressure a little bit there and makes Stephen Williams have to work a little bit harder to get that back. And that'll actually show on his tyres as the laps go on.
Yeah, Aidan's certainly on the move at the moment. Good. He's his last lap time. Just having a look here. Get rid of that one. So yeah, he's just running under the 31-second mark, and the top three cars are on the 31s.
I'm pretty impressed with that. I mean, his last lap was a 30.991. His fastest lap's been a 30.2. He's not that far off the pace he was running at the early stages of the race, and he's been down as far as 24th and up as high as 5th with one pit stop. So yeah, that's a pretty good effort from Aidan.
Yeah, he's the biggest mover so far. Well, technically he's actually the second biggest mover. I will explain what I mean by that. But he is up by 17 positions from the start of the race. So yeah, up 17 positions, but he's only the second biggest mover because the biggest mover technically is down 18 positions, which is Kobe Jordan, who I think has hit pit road again for the second time and has dropped back down to 22nd.
I think he's gambling on putting fresh rubber on that and being able to compete for the next 40 laps or something. Yep. With fresh rubber on the car. He was suffering a lot. I mean, every lap he does, there was somebody wanting to take a spot away from him because he was forced to pit and get tyres so much earlier than everybody else. So that's something that was probably unavoidable. You can't count on there being a caution period at any stage, depending on where you are. I suppose, if you're at Daytona and there's 43 cars, well, there's going to be one. But around here at this point, the way the cars are spread out, as we discussed earlier, there's a lot of single file and that. And if you don't get your incidents and your cautions in the first 20, 25 laps, then really there's a lot less chance of getting one as the race progresses. So we're going to see a lot of green flag stuff here as we click over lap 90 of 263, 153 laps to go. And I'd be very surprised, unless somebody really makes a big mistake, I'd be very surprised to see a caution period.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a fatigue moment, a mental fatigue moment, getting on pit road, getting off pit road maybe, or a driver just clipping the wall and firing down.
Maybe.
Yeah,
bouncing it off the wall or something is probably about the only way I can see it happen, because they're not bunched up enough to make a normal expected mistake and turn somebody.
No, and then the other thing as well is to keep in mind is you don't want to be racing that hard early on in the race. You don't want to be door banging, but when you come down to 50 laps to go, now you start not giving so much room. You start racing closer, and the possibility of door banging and stuff happens. As I just seen the timing screen light up, Foster has made the pass of Douglas there,
Yep, he's
and
taken first
Dyson's.
spot away from Dave Douglas, and he's got Andrew Dyson right behind him, also wanting to do the same thing.
So Dave's managed to have a good run out in front there, but Foster and Dyson are definitely quicker in catching and passing.
With 150 laps to go, yeah, it's still not time to really sort of start to panic about some of these positions.
Nah,
Anybody who's holding a reasonable spot on the lead lap should just continue doing whatever they're doing at the moment. There's still too long to go in this race. Sponsored by Inside Lane Productions for Weekend Warriors, round one of the Weekend Warriors Triple Crown Series, which is inside the normal Cup Series that runs every Saturday night, Australian Eastern, and Inside Lane Productions have come on board to sponsor the Triple Crown.
so what I might do is we might just give ourselves a little bit of a break from talking, and I'll leave the camera set up this way so we get the engine noises coming through for a few laps.
We're going to suggest that, mate. Actually, sounds like a great idea.
Grab some water and wet the whistle and all those sort of words. Right, I'm back. And just while we're away there, we've seen O'Shea make the pass on Douglas for third spot. And we do now see a bunch of the top four cars are also bunched up there. And we're going to see a bit of action coming up here now as the leaders come up on a bunch of lap cars.
Yeah, that's probably the only other danger point that we've got is the lapped cars certainly need to do the right thing, keep out of the way, and not. Although they're not completely bunched up, it's not like running a super speedway, so there's every opportunity to get past these lap cars, and lap cars probably could jump in with them and take some benefit out of the draft.
Yeah, it's always you always got to sort of hold your breath and watch because sometimes, unfortunately, lap car drivers, all you want them to do is just hold their line and keep doing what they're doing. But sometimes it can freak them out a bit, and they panic a bit, and they make moves, and and accidentally hit the wall and come down and take out the leaders. It happens a lot, and it's just unfortunate.
Well, what does happen sometimes is you'll get. It's all about experience. I mean, if I'm paying attention to what's going on in front of me, I don't see the leaders coming, and I end up being like basically they're right up my backside, sort of thing, all over me. Then it's better I stay where I am. They know where I'm sitting at the moment. They'll find a way around me. What we do tend to see is some of the incidents that occur is when some of the less experienced guys will actually suddenly go, oh no, there's faster cars, and suddenly just move up the track right at the point where the leaders are actually going to round them. And that's what causes some of the problems, rather than I'm here now, they know where I am, let them go around me and just hold them as position.
Yeah, and I know when I first started driving, it happened to me. I would panic when I was getting lapped, and you'd make mistakes and hope like hell you wouldn't, cause a accident or take out the leaders. And I still do. I sort of hold my breath even nowadays when I've got leaders coming past me. But because the last thing I want to do is take one of the leaders out from one of my mistakes. But
A lot of things come from experience. Perfection's not necessarily one of them.
no. But you're right. If you just stay there and you're predictable and you give plenty of warning, the guys can set up where they're going to pass you, and they know you're going to hold your line, and
if you've got time and you know they're coming, you can always say, "I'm going to the outside." But if you're at the situation where you just don't notice them behind you because you're watching what somebody else is doing, you're concentrating on what's going on in front, you're looking at your gauges or whatever, and suddenly you realise you've got 4 faster cars that are on the lead lap, and they are literally right on top of you. Those times, it's probably best, unless they go, move out of the way now, then go with it. Just push to the outside and keep it off the wall. Otherwise, you're better off, unless somebody says something, just stay where you are. If they want to go around you, they'll go around you, and they're quite capable of it. But, nobody's perfect. People make mistakes. I do that once in a while on super speedways. I just too busy looking at the guys I'm racing with, and I don't notice that the lead packs come up on behind me, and therefore I'm on the inside line and I'm in the wrong spot. There's not much you can do, and I've been doing this since 2007, so with iRacing since 2009, and I still make those little mistakes purely because I'm concentrating on something other than what I need to be aware of what's going on behind me.
Indeed. So just having a look through bit of a scroll through the field. It's all pretty spread out. There's not many close battles going on at the moment.
Plus, I was going to say, mate, I'm going to really, with most leagues, there is no written rule. It's just an accepted thing. Lap cars go to the outside, and some guys will say that over the chat. But with most of the leagues, there is no written rule. I mean, and a lot of guys would rather you move to the outside than the apron, and other guys say, well, as long as he holds his position where he is, we can work around him, and that's not a problem. Especially if there's 4 or 5 of us and we've got the draft, we can go around him. We're not happy about it, but we'd rather that happen instead of him just suddenly driving to the outside because he hits the panic button and realises there's somebody behind him. And that's when you start to see guys taking out the leaders and stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I've seen leagues do an inside line, lap cars on the inside line, and lap cars and then other leagues do lap cars on the outside. I don't know which one's better or not, but I know that when you're one of those...
A lot of it can come down to what the drivers prefer as well.
I know when you're one of those lap cars and you're on the outside at like a Daytona or something, and you just want to make sure you're going 3 wide. You just want to make sure you don't touch that wall, and it fires you
Oh,
out
yeah.
into the pack.
Um, every single time that I'm in a 3 wide situation at Daytona or even Talladega, and we're coming up on a lapped car and he's on the outside,
Oh yeah,
that's a butt clincher, I'm afraid.
yeah. And you just hope that the other drivers are all got the mindset they sort of realise what's going on, and most of the time you do see it where they just start working on bringing that pack down from 3 lines down to 2 while you get past the lap car, and then once you pass them, get back into 3 wide if you want.
Well, that's it, yeah, and it can, yeah, it it makes it fairly tense, but that's the moment where you really got to pray you're on the inside line, so that when you see people starting to come together, you can at least get to the infield and try and avoid getting involved in it.
Hmm.
But it doesn't always work that way either.
No. So I've just seen Maddie Raymond in 15th go a lap down. So 14 cars on the lead lap still after 113 laps. That's pretty good.
Yep, actually, it is 14. Noddy Tompkins is the last car on the lead lap at the moment. He's 27, nearly 27 and a half seconds, or 27.2 or 3 seconds off the leader at this point, who is Edward Foster, with Andrew Dyson second, Dylan O'Shea in third, Dave Douglas fourth, Michael Skurlock fifth, Aidan Schultz, a fantastic sixth place there at the moment. Adam Malone in seventh. Good steerer, Adam. I like his driving style. He's like, once again, nothing's, no superstar stuff about it. He just seems to get on with it, get the job done. Ruben Phelps in eighth. Justin Witchett ninth. Jamie Nankervis in 10th. Pardon me, Steve Williams is 11th. And Mark Smith in 12th in the 07 car. Once again, Mark just getting on with it and getting the job done, staying on the lead lap. Great to see Norman Clark sitting up there on the lead lap in the 09 car in position 13. And then, as we said, Noddy Tompkins in the 80 car, 14th place, and the last of the cars before they start going down a lap.
Yeah, and you can see in the background there, Foster's chasing him down. Another few laps, and he'll probably put Noddy a lap down.
So 116 laps out of 263. We're not even at the halfway mark, ladies and gentlemen, so stick it out. We've got a lot more to come. And if you've only just tuned in, this is the Weekend Warriors from Nashville Super Speedway. Edward Foster continues to lead. It's round one of the Triple Crown, sponsored by Inside Lane Productions, as Andrew Dyson battles to keep up with Edward Foster there in hopes of taking the spot away from him when the opportunity presents itself. Dave Douglas back up to third spot, and I believe he's got Dylan O'Shea behind him in fourth. There were three of the 4 cars at the start were DPR Benmax cars, which was Andrew Dyson, Dylan O'Shea, and I'm trying to think who the other guy was.
Stephen Williams?
No, wasn't it Pearson?
Peasant? No, I don't think Neil's in this race tonight. No, he's not in here. I think it was maybe only 2 DPR cars at the front for the start of the race, and Stevie Williams
I thought there was 3 plus Edward Foster, but obviously got it wrong.
No. Stephen Williams is started the 9th. He's the other DPR car.
Right, okay, so
Yep.
there must have been somebody else snuck in on the second row.
That's all right.
But, yeah, look, Dave Douglas, yeah, he's doing well at the moment, holding third position. And he's just getting on with it, really. I mean, it's just a smooth consistent performance. He did lead this race for a while. He's had one pit stop, I believe, as he moves up on Brad Allison, who's not having a great run tonight. It's certainly not a bad one, but I don't think it's a very good run either.
No, not one that you'd be happy with. What I might do is I might just work our way through the field. Just give everybody a little bit of camera time. So, Dylan O'Shea in 4th place there.
Michael Skurlock sitting back there in 5th spot. He's been at the pointy end for quite a while.
Yeah. So near the end of that first green flag run, he worked his way up into the top 5 there, but since the pit stop, he hasn't really been able to make much progress. So he's just been sitting there in 5th place, logging laps. Aidan Schultz had a really good run tonight. He's biggest mover of the race, up 18 spots.
Yeah, Aidan's had a run that he can be pretty proud of, even if he, which is unlikely, but even if he finishes exactly where he is. But with 141 laps to go, I'd say Aidan will move through a bit further.
Just having a look at some data. Adam Malone is coming into the pits. But we'll jump back into 7th spot is Justin Witcher. Having a good run for him.
Justin's another one that comes to a track like this, and he's just consistent. Barring any incidents or technical problems, he's generally pretty consistent. Knows what he's about. Has a good idea of what his strategy needs to be as far as tyres are concerned, and just gets on with it.
Yeah, another good solid run. It was Kobe Jordan that you were thinking of. That was a DPR car, but he's not a DPR car.
It was too. Sorry, yeah, Kobe. Kobe started in 4th place, I think, on the 2nd row. Yeah.
Yeah, Abigail in the chat mentioned that. Set us straight.
Somebody's got a better memory than I have. Thanks very much for that.
So first of the Goodyear cars, Ruben Phelps there for Momentum Esports. Sitting in 8th spot at the moment.
Yeah, so good. A pretty decent run from Ruben. As we mentioned earlier on, it's a fairly controlled run from Ruben. He's got, I think it's Jamie Nankervis with him physically on track, and he's also in 9th place. They are racing for position, those two guys. And there's going to be some nice, consistent, clean driving between those two. They're two drivers that are not really known for making huge mistakes and causing incidents.
No, and the closest battle on track at the moment, other than the battle for the lead, which I'm actually keeping an eye on because it looks like it's heating up a bit. I'll jump back through here. So just been keeping an eye on the timing data, and looks like Dyson is mounting a little bit of a challenge now to Foster to take over the lead of the race.
He's got that elastic band happening again through the corners. He seems to be, sort of have the edge on Edward, and he closes up the gap, and then Edward gets onto the straight and stretches it back out to a car length and a half to 2 car lengths. As you can see, they come through there. He's got that down to about a half a car length between them, Andrew Dyson. But as they get on the straight, Edward seems to have a little bit more in a straight line, and he'll actually open that up to about 1.5 to 2 car lengths, and then Andrew will pull it back in again through the turn.
Yeah, he could be doing the really working on the slow and fast out there of the corner, just saving those tyres a little bit, as it looks like Dyson's going to have a little look on the inside here. I think he's got a good run here. I think he'll get the job done.
Yeah, that's job done for Andrew Dyson. Edward won't be going into panic mode, though.
No.
These experienced guys know that this is going to happen throughout the race.
Yep.
You'll battle back and forward, different stages of the race. These guys know that it's all about 220 laps of setting yourself up so that you can actually race the last 43.
Yeah, as we see the 3 car of Adam Malone, who is 2 laps down and on fresh rubber, he is sort of cutting his way through these guys. So, yeah, while he is passing Foster and Dyson, it isn't for position. It is to get a lap back, which he has done now. So Adam Malone now is 1 lap down with 5 lap old tyres. And the leaders are running around on 57, 58 lap tyres which doesn't sound, as we say, the tyre wear is not really the factor, it's the heat. So just managing those tyres and keeping the heat out of that right front. As we see, Skurlock has passed Dave Douglas. That's because Dave has come into the pits for his second stop.
Yeah, sorry, mate. I don't actually. I tend to forget about checking the live chat on the stream. So I'm not sure who's in there or whatever. So I've just actually opened that up so I can take a bit of a look and see who we've got watching. Good day out there, no matter who you are or where you are at the moment. Thanks for joining us.
That's right. I'm keeping an eye on it as well.
Yes, Abigail. I knew that. Yeah, that's who's got a better memory than me, but that's not hard to do. Good day, Abigail. Regular viewer and participant in the live chat. Great to have you there.
And we're starting to see a few more cars now coming in for that second pit stop. Jamie Nankervis on the screen there. He's just come in for his second stop.
Yeah, I'm just not so sure how dulcet my tones are tonight, Abigail. I've got a pretty crook throat and a bit of a chest issue, so getting through it. We'll see how we go. And we did actually discuss earlier on that last time I commentated with Matt was the night I started to get sick. It was about 4 weeks ago, and I've been laid up ever since. So we'll see how we go.
There's another car on pit road. Aiden Schultz is in now.
Yeah, Aiden's come in for another scheduled pit stop, lap 133. So 4 tyres and fuel, and that'll propel Aiden on till probably somewhere around the lap 195 mark next time we see him have to come in. But yet again, another green flag pit stop because we're getting a lot of green flag racing at the moment, Matt.
Yeah, it's pretty good effort so far. No cautions. It's good to see. Yeah, just keeping an eye on sort of seeing cars dropping down the order here, and just due to them pitting.
Oh, I think the track has made a difference as well, purely because the guys know they've got to look after the tyres. It's a very long race. They don't need to try and win it in the first 5 laps or whatever. And I think that's made a difference to the quality of the racing and the fact that we've had no incidents so far.
Indeed, yeah, the car and track combo seems to be pretty good. Pretty safe setup, which is great to see.
And how's our Swedish mate going out there, Mr. Mark Johansson?
The car's parked. 20-minute repair.
Ooh.
After someone decided that I looked better in the war.
Oh.
Gee, sounds like we've got a celebrity death match coming up afterwards.
All I can say is payback's a bitch.
Oof.
Okay. Well, we'll keep an eye out on that one, Mark.
Yeah, I see that.
I broke the rear axle. He came up and he forced me high, and yeah, the only thing on the outside was the wall. And brushed the wall hard enough that it's done some damage to the rear end, and that's it. 25-minute repair, so it's not worth going back out.
Well, why don't you give us a bit of a shout out to some of your sponsors for the league and your team, and give them a bit of a hoy for supporting the sim racing and the league.
Yeah, look. First off, I got to thank Jordan from Custom Paints and Diecast. He's come on board this year as the major sponsor. Happy to have him. If you want a diecast painted up, definitely drop by his Facebook page and get in touch with him. He'll do you right. Track Racer, they've come on board as a sponsor. SimShed Broadcasting, unfortunately, he's out of action for a few more weeks. He had to have a computer malfunction, and he's in the process of building a brand new computer that's going to be able to broadcast in theory in 8K. So that's a big one. And of course, Inside Lane Productions, that have come on board and sponsoring the 3 rounds of the Triple Crowns for this year. And of course, you know, the other helpers that we get, like Matt, Carl, and yourself, Steve, jumping in at the last minute to help us out.
Yeah, no, it's great stuff to have some support throughout the community and the different leagues and stuff like that that work together for to make sure that not only the streaming but the commentary and the supporting of the races in a sponsorship point of view. It's all great to see.
Yeah, definitely. And look, the people that I really want to shout out to are the people that tune in every week and watch the stream when we can get a stream up and going. You were saying about Abigail there before, Steve. It just wouldn't be a broadcast without her.
Exactly right. Without Abigail putting in her bits and pieces there, it sort of be pretty dead in the live chat. But Addison and Neil Pearson's actually out there, and he's watching as well. So good day to Neil, and a bit surprised to not see you on track. And good day to Addison as well. And Abigail, it's great to always have you along. And we're only halfway through. Plenty more racing to go. That's exactly right, Abigail.
Yeah, I can just see getting stuck into me. Look, I could get back out there, but all I'm going to be is a chicane. I'm not going to have the speed in the car, so I'd rather give these boys a clear chance at it. I'm sitting down in, I think, 19th now in the championship, so I'm not going to get back out there and be a mobile chicane. As I said, rather give these guys a clear, hard fight.
Well, it's exactly right, and that's why I haven't raced much the last few weeks. Is these health issues here and there being laid up. It's not a great deal of physical exertion, but it's also about concentration factor and stuff like that. And so I've taken a bit of a discretionary position, and when I feel up to it, I'll get back on track, which hopefully will be soon. I'm getting a little bit tired of this watching from the sidelines.
Oh, there's plenty of other series, mate. We've got the 87s. You'd come out and have a bit of fun there with them. And next week we start a bit of a social thing on a Friday night to get some interest into the wheeling cars, the open wheel NASCAR. So that's a bit of fun for everyone.
Yeah, there's quite a bit happening around Weekend Warriors as well with Ann's car. Busy throughout the week, pretty much 7 days a week. And the Australasian V8 Supercar E Series on Sunday nights as well. And I believe it's timed so that the Weekend Warriors 87 series will finish in time for anybody who also wants to run or watch the V8s take on the ovals.
Yeah, that's going to happen next year. At the moment, our 87s run prior to the Cup race.
So that's still the pre-race entertainment.
Yeah. For people that want to put their shoulders and everything through some torture, but have some really good fun. You know, we had 21 cars there tonight, and some real good fun racing there.
Yeah, I was looking forward to that, but my family dinner night got changed from Friday to Saturday because of my oldest girl's dinner commitments. So that means that I find it difficult to race on Saturday nights because of that, and to be available for commentary and stuff. But and I've got to tell you, I mean, racing against you ugly fellas, looking into the eyes of my twin grandsons. Yeah, there's just no contest, mate. I'm sorry.
That's fair. No, look, hats off to these guys that give up the Saturday nights, that commit to the 35 weeks of the season. It's a big ask, and as you said before, Steve, with between us and Ann's car, Super E, Global, you can race just about every night of the week if you really want. But most of the guys...
That's just on the Australian timetable, mate. I mean,
yeah.
I actually do two US-based series during the day because I'm retired. So it's like their Tuesday night and Wednesday night series that I race during the middle of the day on Wednesdays and Thursdays. And both of those are Super Speedway series. So I sort of get to let my hair down and sit on somebody's bumper at 300 kilometres an hour. It's great fun.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know, Matt. Can we just get a shot of the 09 car, Mr. Norman Clark? Now the 09 car had a great race today in an American league. Both him and Brad Allison race in it. Jamie Nankervis does when he can, and I do when I can. Mr. Clark had a race win at Indianapolis in the next gen today, and followed home second by Brad Allison. So these are guys racing against Americans. So I mean to say, the racing in Australia and New Zealand is getting better all the time.
Yeah, the Americans actually find it hard to believe that Australians who live in Australia, or New Zealanders in Norman's case, actually like race in the US leagues. I got the third degree about it. What was it, last week or the week before? And during a caution period behind the pace car, and they wanted to know, yeah, you're Australian, but like, are you actually in Australia? I said, yeah, I'm in Australia on the East Coast. I don't live in the States or anything like that. I thought you'd be more into the V8s. Nah, V8's boring, mate.
Yeah, look, it's everyone to their own. You know, everyone has the love. My first love, you know, Steve and Matt knows, is sprint cars. You know, I grew up around sprint cars. I've been to America, and crewed for Steve Kinzer and Donny Schatz and the likes. So that's my first love. NASCAR is my second love, and then the V8s.
Well, we've got Norman Clark under threat here at the moment. With I'm just trying to see which car it is. I can't see the number, but it's either is it Matt Hunter or Noddy Tompkins, one of those guys. Yeah, and he looked like he was posing a real threat to Norman, but Norman's opened the gap up again now, and he knows he's there, and Norman knows what to do about keeping that. Defensive driving is not one of Norman's shortfalls. He can actually drive the wheels off that thing if he needs to.
Yeah, definitely can. We all call him the quiet the gentleman of the league. He's probably the statesman of both leagues. So he just plots along there, and he always seems to be thereabouts at the end.
Well, Norman's been around a very long time. He knows what he's doing. Real world, he's got rally experience in South Africa and stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely. Some of his stories that he's told us while we've been bench racing post race has been unbelievable. You know, about rhinos and elephants walking out onto the rally track. There's been some very good stories come out of Norman.
I can think of some frightening things, but ripping around a corner in a Subaru WRX or something, absolutely flat out in the dirt, left-hander, and there's suddenly a 2.5-ton rhino standing in the middle of the road. Not what I want to see.
No, definitely not a thing you want to come face to face with. That's for sure. I know we've been under a green for a long time, but I in some ways I'd like to see a caution come out to close the field up to bring it all back together again.
Mate, we haven't had a caution yet. It's actually been a green race for 156 laps.
Yeah, it's as you said, it's a credit to these guys. A bit of fatigue is starting to set in now. Might see someone get a bit loose.
The late stages, I think, is where we're going to see one, if at all, as drivers get tired, lapped cars, against cars on the lead lap, stuff like that. So we may end up seeing some. I haven't actually said we won't. I just said it's a lot less likely as the race goes on. But depending on who's positioned where, how close the front pack is with the leaders, stuff like that will actually dictate how dangerous it becomes out there.
Yeah, definitely.
But once again, a little bit of a plug for Inside Lane Productions. Great to have them on board as a sponsor for the Triple Crown Series, which is, of course, the rounds at Nashville Super Speedway, being this one. And then we've got rounds at Daytona and Talladega, not necessarily in that order because I don't have the schedule right in front of me. And I'm sure Mark will correct me on that. But for those 3 rounds, Inside Lane Productions sponsoring the Triple Crown. For those 3, super speedways, even if one's in name only. But that's something, it's a series within the series is definitely worth looking forward to. Dave Douglas continues to lead this.
No, he's just been passed by Andrew Dyson, yeah.
Just passed him, sorry, I've just noticed that. And it hasn't updated yet. And Edward Foster still sitting in 3rd place.
Yeah, getting back to the Triple Crown, Steve, you were very close. The next, well, I'll just run through why we got this boys. Next week's is our retro round at Darlington. That's a 300-mile race. Then we got the Jake McKenzie Memorial on the 6th of the 8th at the IR Super Speedway. The next round of the Triple Crown is on the 1st of the 10th, round 30, which is at Indy. So you're very close, but just a little bit apart.
Sorry, I thought the Triple Crown was Super Speedway situation, but Indy's it's 2 miles or something anyway. So
yeah, that's a 350 mile race. And then, of course, our championship final at Daytona, the SimShed 500, which is a true 500-mile race this year.
Yeah. What's the date on that one, mate?
That's the 5th of the 11th.
Okay. Oh, I've got a feeling I won't be commentating that night.
No?
Well, we'll have to see how things go with family commitments, but
yeah, that one will kick off a little bit earlier because we don't want our Kiwi brothers sitting up until 3 o'clock in the morning trying to steer a race car around the track.
Why? Sorry, that's just my Kiwi joke.
Because I might have to wrap Matt into doing some commentating with me. I need him awake.
Yeah, could do. But yeah, look, it's there's some great racing still to come in this series, both for the Triple Crown Sub Series and the Next Gen Cup All Out overall. Sorry. So yeah, and it's fantastic, as I said, to see Inside Lane Productions involved, as well as the full series sponsors being custom paints and decals. Did I get it right this time?
Close. Custom paints and die cast.
Die casts, of course, yes. I've actually looked at their services a couple of times, and it's fantastic that if you actually want a die cast model in whatever scale, that's an actual replica of your iRacing Next Gen Cup or truck or whatever, get onto them. Get onto that mob. Find them on Facebook and support them because they support us. They support the racing that you're sitting here and watching through the Performance e-streaming network on social media, and you can actually just simply pay them to replicate your iRacing car onto a truck or a car, next gen, whatever, and have that on the shelf there so that you've got to look at. It's just a matter of whether you're happy with the skin or not, I suppose.
Yeah, definitely. And the winner of the championship will get one of those cars or him as the end of season trophy. So again, thanks to Jordan for coming on board and supplying that as our trophy for the night, for the season.
It's great to see the support in sim racing. The best thing that ever happened to sim racing was COVID.
Yeah, definitely. Why we got this lull? If everyone wants, I can run through the championship standings as they came into this round. And it's going to change a few things up the way the field is at the moment in the championship points. Do you guys want me to run through that for you? All right, so first place we have Mr. Foster, 18 starts, and he's sitting on 718 points. Second in the championship, Ruben Phelps, sitting on 692. And third, only his second year in, he got Rookie of the Year last year, is Jamie Nankervis on 590. Stevie Williams on fourth on 589. Norman Clark in fifth on 549. Adam Malone in sixth on 502. Mark Smith in seventh on 487. Eighth is Kobe Jordan on 458. Brad Allison in ninth on 440. Tied for ninth place is Matthew Raymond on 440. 11th is Andrew Dyson, 434. Brett Campbell in 12th on 416. Tristan Koch on 409 in 13th. Michael Skurlock in 14th on 394. And rounding out the top 15 is Wayne Van Buren on 393 points. So that's the top 15 as they were coming into tonight's round.
Well, there's certainly a lot to play for there, but there's still also a lot of racing to come in the series. So,
oh look, we as I said, this is round 19 of 35. So we've still got plenty of racing to come, and still another. Well, this round of double points and two more.
yeah, that's right. That is, I believe I mentioned earlier, it's double points tonight because it's part of the Triple Crown. Thanks to Inside Lane Productions and their sponsorship of the Triple Crown sub-series. And yeah, there's double points on offer for each of those rounds. So anybody who needs to just bump those up because they've missed a round or had a bad round, the Triple Crown rounds are certainly the way to get those points back up.
Yeah, definitely.
Unless you run second in the race to Edward Foster and he gets double points too.
Yeah, that's true. But you can see here, Ruben Phelps, I believe, he's up in the 10th. So he's slowly clawing his way back to the front. So if Ruben can get close to Ed, that'll be good. And Jamie also will be hoping to come through the field a little bit more. I'll just see where he is.
Well, unfortunately, we've actually lowered the number of drivers still on the lead lap. We've only got the first 7 on the lead lap. And I believe Adam Malone, then Williams, then Phelps, then Nankervis, then Smith rounds out the top 12. But those drivers are all one lap down.
Yeah, I think at this carapace we might end up, if it stays green, we might only end up with maybe the top 5 on the lead lap.
Well, it depends. I mean, a lot of that has got to do with the fact that we've had green racing since the flag dropped. So a lot, all the pit stops have had to take place under green. There's been no cautions yet, which is just fantastic stuff. Great driving, great talent out there, great quality racing. And it's just going to be interesting to see who can actually make the most of this as time goes on. And well, one single caution will really turn this race upside down.
Yeah, especially if it happens in the next couple of laps where we still got those 7 cars on the lead lap. It then becomes, it's not quite a sprint race yet, but it's getting very close to, if we get a caution, to being a sprint race.
Well, we're down to, what have we got? Less than 90 laps to go. 177 of 263. So it's starting to get down to the point in which people need to make a decision and put themselves in a position to finish where they want to finish in this race.
Yeah, definitely right there, Steve.
Especially like we can't count on caution periods. We can sort of half expect one purely because we haven't had one yet. And statistically, that's just a miracle. But at the same time, that would bunch everybody up and would actually change the lap down situation for quite a lot of these guys. But once again, like say 80 something laps to go is when these guys need to be starting to jockey for positions. And then with the last 30 or 40 laps, I think we're going to see some really intense racing.
Sorry, Steve. I was just listening to the race radio. We've got a car that's blinking a little bit out there, and Dyson's just alluding to it that he can't see him every now and then.
Yeah, I think that's going to be probably the 129 of Paul Girardi, because I can't see him on the timing screen, so it looks like he's just dropped off.
Yep, he's dropped out due to download package loss. So unfortunately for Paul, to get this far into the race and drop out, just see if I can get down into his race channel and get a comment from him and see if he's going to end up back into the race.
Yeah, it's a bit of a shame to see anybody drop out in that way, through no fault of their own. And Paul was not necessarily in a prime position, but he was certainly just getting on with the job and having a good time.
Yeah, he was having a nice solid run, staying out of trouble, making them the laps. And, it's always a pain to drop out with network issues.
It looks like he's had a complete dropout because he's even dropped out of Discord there.
A bit of a shame, but I mean, considering the issue I had at the start, that was a bit strange as well.
So just going to do a little bit of a recap on through the field. There's no real on-track battles of note. We've got the battle here between Ruben Phelps in the 06 car in 8th spot, and Stephen Williams in the green 98 there. And then Jamie Nankervis behind him. It's probably the closest battle on track at the moment. Although Ruben does look to be pulling away from Stephen Williams there. But other than that, the field is pretty well spread out. This is a battle here for position. Brad Allison in the 03. Looking to get past the 55. Of Adam Ariel, I believe it is.
Oh, right, yep. Adds Ariel, yeah.
Yeah, apologise if I mispronounced the surname. I'm terrible with pronouncing names.
I think that's what it is, mate. I think it's just basically as it's spelt, as it looks. Just that's pronunciation, I believe.
Yeah, that's correct, mate.
And poor old Kobe Jordan gets passed by these guys again. And
but he's got fresh tyres, and look at that pull away.
He's going to put up a fight now. He saw him coming and decided, no, I don't want any part of that. I'm not going any further down. So he's dropped the hammer and absolutely blasted away from Adam Ariel and Brad Allison there. But I believe that's Noddy Tompkins moving up on the back of these two.
Yes, but Noddy would be a lap ahead of them. So Brad and Adam are both 2 laps down, whereas Noddy is only 1 lap down. And Kobe is actually 3 laps down, so because he's just come out of the pits for his 4th pit stop of the night.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see how Noddy handles this one. He's got 2 cars in front of him that are a lap down, and a car in front of them that's 2 laps down. So we'll see how this goes.
I imagine the guys that are an extra lap down won't put up too much fight. Make it too difficult for them.
These guys will give racing room. There's no 2 ways about it. Especially Brad Allison. He'll make sure that there's plenty of room for a faster car to go through on him. He'll know who it is, and he'll know that he's a lap down on that particular car, and he'll make room for it.
Everything's settled down a bit this time around. One thing it does look like is something is on this green flag run. The gaps seem to have spread out a lot between the top 5 cars compared to the first couple of runs. Like Dyson's got a 4.3 second lap, 4.3 second lead to second place, and then Dave Douglas is 7.5 seconds back. So it just looks like the gaps are a bit bigger. Dyson's kind of put the hammer down this run.
Yeah, look, Dyso's now decided this is about the point where he wants to exert some dominance here and position himself for the end of the race. Edward's got a bit of a job to catch him, but Dave Douglas, as well as he's gone, and although we've still got quite a few laps to go, we've something 70 or so laps to go. He's 12 seconds off the leader, so that's going to be very difficult to make up.
Indeed, as we see Dyson pass the 52 of Schultz in 7th place to put him a lap down. Next car in his sight will be the 6th car of Witcher, which he should excuse me, put a lap down in a few laps' time. Gotta love the old random cough out of nowhere.
Oh, yeah, you got to love doing that on a live broadcast, haven't you? That's why I went to Push to Talk with the way my throat is at the moment. I cough and splutter all the way through this. I've gone through about 1.5 litres of water at the moment, so it's not too bad. Got to keep lubricated, people, no matter what happens.
So we just see with the graphic down the bottom there, we just got a comparison between the first and second place lap times and the gap. And yeah, you can see that last time around it was pretty close. But yeah, it's probably a tenth to two tenths a second, a tenth to 2 tenths a lap difference. Dyson's just stretching that gap out even more. I imagine we will probably start to be thinking about our last pit stop soon.
Yeah, I'd say probably in about 20 laps they could do one and make it to the end without a problem on tyres. Fuel obviously won't be an issue. I think it's going to be a case of how they want to run and what tyres they've got left, what fresh stuff's available to them. Do they want to have an absolute blast for the last 20 laps, or do they want to try and keep it consistent? That's going to be the big question. And on top of all that, will we get a caution period, which will bunch up the entire field? It'll help out the guys who are a lap down, but they're really only a half a lap off the leaders. Stuff like that will help those guys who are a lap down, which is everybody outside from 5th backwards now. And it's going to be interesting to see if we get that opportunity. It would make for some fantastic racing to the end. But at the same time, it's an unknown quantity, so we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, and it'll be a caution breeds cautions situation too. Like if we get one, I imagine we will see a whole bunch of them. End of the race, aggression levels will be up. More
The last
possibility of
20 laps,
crashes.
I expect to see 1 or 2 in the last 20 laps. People are going to be pushing and shoving. I think some people may get impatient. It's been a very long race, and what are we, about 68 laps to go? And some people are going to get a little bit impatient when they can see that they're getting towards the end, especially if we can get the field bunched up with a caution. Then people are going to start to push a little bit, and that's when we're going to start to see more cautions. But yeah, I think you're right, Matt. It'll only take one, and we'll get a bit of a domino effect from that. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, the other week we had nothing for when we were at North Wilkesboro. We had nothing for 157 laps, and then we had 4 very quick cautions. So yeah, cautions do 3 cautions.
And that's just a product of it's at the end of the race. It's time to go. You're going to give other drivers less room than you normally would early in the race, and you're trying to make up as many spots as you can. And unfortunately, that's just the nature of the beast.
But at the moment, we're looking at Andrew Dyson, who's leading this one, from Edward Foster in second, and Dave Douglas holding down third place at the moment. Fourth is Dylan O'Shea. Fifth is Justin Witcher, and he's the first of the 1 lap down cars. And why are there so many guys a lap or 2 down? We've still got 60 odd laps to go. Green flags, people. We've had no cautions. This has been 199 laps of green racing, therefore green pit stops.
Sorry, just having a little bit of a look through some information.
Nobby and Justin Witcher are in the Nobby Tompkins and Justin Witcher are in the pit lane.
Right on lap 200, so although for them it's possibly 198 because they are 2 laps down. So they'll be looking for a 65 lap run to the end if it stays green.
I still think you're going to find the smart
Dave
guys.
Douglas in. Dave Douglas is in pit lane. Stevie Dubbs in pit lane. Sorry, Steve.
No, I was just going to say, I think you'll still find the smart guys are probably hanging onto a set of tyres. So that last 20 or 30 laps, they'll push hard on it with fresh rubber and try and make a real sprint race out of it for the last at least 20 to 30 laps.
Yeah, I'm seeing the timing board light up with a whole bunch of cars pitting in, I think. Stephen Williams is on his way out. Noel Clark. Matthew Raymond's just done his pit stop. Jamie Nankervis is currently getting serviced.
So we need to keep a definite eye on Dyson, Foster and O'Shea at the moment because everybody else behind them is just pitted. And it's going to come down to what these 3 guys do at the front now and how they run their green flag pit stop.
Yeah, I think Dyson will still do another 12 laps. I think he did 70 laps on his last run, and he's only done 59 now on this run. So I think he'll probably go for another 10 laps or so.
Yeah.
His pace is pretty good still.
I'm saying you're probably right. His pace is good. Yep. But I'm just looking at the laps left. In about another 12 laps, he'll still have around about a 50 lap run to go. And yeah, I'd love to know what's going through Andrew Dyson's head right now.
The strategies, yeah. It's always great, the different strategies. As Ruben Phelps is getting his pit stop done.
Yeah, another reason I'd like to shake whatever this is that I'm stuck with at the moment is when I actually sat down at my desk, I pulled the chair out and found a whole bunch of brand new computer parts that I ordered and haven't put together yet.
O'Shea's in the pits now.
There's a $2,500 graphics card sitting there and a new 850 watt power supply, motherboard, 2 terabyte SSD, stuff like that to upgrade this machine that I'm on at the moment, which is starting to get a bit long in the tooth. So that's also the downside of the way I feel at the moment. Is just no motivation to do stuff like that.
Hmm. So O'Shea's coming out of the pits there now.
Yep, so O'Shea's back out there, so he'll hit the track again. We've still got Dyson and Foster, and Mark Smith's in the pits in the 07 car.
Mark Smith's just got his 4 tyres and fuel.
So what's good for these guys from third place onwards is obviously going to be when Dyson and Foster pit, because that's going to put Douglas back on the lead lap, O'Shea 1 lap down, Witcher 1 lap down, Schultz 1 lap down, Malone 1 lap down, and so on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a couple of those guys may end up with their lap back, so that'd be good.
Yeah, it's a cracking pace. I think I said that we might only see top 5 on the lead lap. Oh, I think it might end up being only the top 3.
Yeah, this could even be a situation where anybody who has something.
Foster's in.
Edward Foster sideways into the lane.
Pitting in with style. Or slowing down with style.
As we watch Edward roll in. This will, I believe, be his last stop. I think Edward will go all the way to the end now on fuel and tyres.
Yeah.
So 4 tyres and fuel for Edward Foster as he leaves the pit lane, and he heads out for what I believe will be 53 laps from car 53. I don't think he'll come back in. I think he'll stay out unless there's a caution, and he'll take advantage of it maybe. But otherwise, I don't see Edward needing to pit. He's done much longer stints than that tonight, so I think that'll be it for Edward. It'll be interesting to see if Andrew Dyson pits and then follows the same strategy.
Yeah, I imagine we'll see him coming in anytime soon. There's a message in chat for you too there, Steve. As Dyson comes into the pits.
Yep, there he is.
He's under a bit more control.
A little bit loose from Andrew as he was under brakes there to knock the speed off. So that'll be down to old tyres, I'd say. And that's just put Dave Douglas back on the lead lap in second because he's now registering a gap rather than a lap.
Foster's back on the lead lap as well.
Foster in third. O'Shea in fourth, and we'll start to see some of these change from a lap down to actual gaps. And as we down as far as Aidan Schultz in the 52 car, and that's showing him as being back on the lead lap.
Yeah, so they're getting the benefit of the undercut there. So they would have been that 1 second, 1.5 seconds, perhaps at times, a lap faster. So they would have used that, someone like Justin, for example, has been on those tyres for 12 laps, so he would have picked up 10 seconds.
Well, Dave Douglas has now taken the lead of the race back again. Not his first time at the front tonight. And Dyson's come out, and I think he's held on to second place. Foster in third, O'Shea in fourth, Witcher fifth, Schultz in sixth, Malone 7th, Phelps 8th, Williams 9th, and Jamie Nankervis 1 lap down, rounding out the top 10.
Yeah, and Dyson's right on the back of Douglas there. 12 laps difference in tyres there between Dyson's tyres and Dave Douglas's. I have to agree with the comment in chat about staying off all the dairy food. As someone who's who's had to go dairy free pretty much in the last couple of months due to a lactose issue, I can wholeheartedly agree with that.
Yeah, dairy food's not my problem. It's all the other stuff.
Well, it wasn't my problem until the beginning of this year, and then and then I've been sick for most of the year and worked out it was lactose. So it's great.
But I take that on board, Abigail. Thank you very much.
As Dyson's taken over that lead now from Douglas.
But when it's -8 degrees, eating an ice cream is probably not a great idea. I'd be looking at hot soup rather than anything else, I think. Actually had some fantastic soup last night with my my Chinese meal. I ordered some soup as an entree, and I believe it was prawn and mushroom, but it was fantastic stuff. Great. I haven't had something like that in a long time.
So I might just chuck up the pit stop information here so you can see that these were the the pit stop times for people. O'Shea with what looks like the fastest pit there of 13.93. But you can see from that data there that with that 14.5 second sort of average, that's your full tank of fuel, 4 tyres covered over that. So
yeah. It was a good stop from Daiso because he went from first to second under a green flag pit stop. So he was obviously on a run, and where he was positioned on track physically also led to him coming out. And really, all he did was drop from first to second when it could have easily been a lot worse than that with Edward Foster on the charge.
Indeed, yeah. And you can see he's already opened up a gap now. It's almost 2 seconds now to second place. And still 5.3 on Foster and third.
$219 laps of 263, ladies and gentlemen, and they have all been green. Absolutely no incidents so far. We are sort of half expecting at least one incident to come up at some point as people get fatigue and stuff, but it certainly hasn't happened as yet. And through all the green flag pit stops, there's been some spectacular driving and battling for positions out there. It's been great stuff tonight.
Definitely, yeah, good battles all up and down throughout the field.
Yeah, definitely another quality race in the Weekend Warriors series. And the Weekend Warriors Cup Series, sponsored by Custom Paints and Die Casts, and this being round 1 of the Triple Crown, is sponsored by Inside Lane Productions. Give the sponsors a bit of a look or a bit of a like on Facebook. Show some support for them. They make all this even more possible than what it would normally be with the streams and all that sort of stuff. Fantastic work from Matt again tonight on the buttons and giving us the great visuals too.
Yeah, it's so important with the sponsors and trying to, grow some racing overall. We need more sponsors on board, so we need everybody to, give their support to sponsors where they can and if they can. Help get the interest up in sim racing and the more sponsors we can get into it, the more we'll be able to expand and grow sim racing and do better and cooler things, really.
Well, quality racing like this, even if we get an incident between now and the end, it's only 40 laps to go, and we've been green flag racing for this entire time. That sort of quality racing is what sponsors are looking for. They don't look for wreck fests. They look for quality racing that gets quality broadcasts that people like to watch. So thanks very much out there. And if you're watching, give it a like. Give it a like on Facebook.
Give it a like, give it a share, give it a mention, let your friends
give it a
know.
like, give it a share, give it a follow, whatever platform you're watching it on. And that helps. The way things work these days with these algorithms and stuff on YouTube and Google, and every little bit helps. And if possible sponsors see the results, and they see that people are going to see or hear their name on the stream, then it makes it a whole lot easier for people like league admins to get sponsorship for the races or for the entire series.
Indeed, and oval racing in this area is pretty small and growing. But yeah, we're a lot more work needed to get it, I think, up where we would like to see it.
Yeah,
As we
definitely.
see.
I was just going to say, guys, we've this is absolutely, like, I know Steve said it, and we've been racing now for over 2 hours without a caution.
Yeah, I certainly don't want to jinx them, but yeah, I mean, it's been fantastic stuff, and the quality racing. From a viewer's point of view, yes, it can get a little bit boring with it having green flag all the way through, but it is quality racing. I mean, it's very easy to watch a race that's got, multiple incidents and the field keeps getting bunched up together and stuff like that. But really, what you're seeing are guys who have actually run a strategy all night. I'm just looking at Aidan Schultz and Darren McKenzie out there at the moment. I mean, Schultz sitting sixth. I can't recall where he started, but Aidan's run a fantastic race tonight, exceptionally clean and consistent. And if he can hold that sixth spot for the next 30-something laps, then he'll get a good fistful of points for the championship.
Aidan started down in 24th.
Well, that's an exceptional. That's jumping for 18 or something, and that's a fantastic effort.
Yeah. As you're saying, Steve, the racing has been great. We've only had 4 retirements for the night. Brett Campbell, myself, Christopher Tomplins, and Peter Gretton. So, I mean, to say it's a credit. And as Matt was saying, the only reason these guys are 1 lap down, it's because of the green flag pit stops.
Everything's happened under a green flag, mate. Exactly right.
Yeah, people have said to me, have constantly said to me that, and I know I keep going back over it, that we're trying to take the spot of Anscar. We're not. There's room here for both of us. We go for the longer races on a Saturday night, and you can see by the quality of the racing, we've got, I would say, 95% of this field run and try and qualify for Anscar itself too, with a lot of them making it into the Anscar races.
Yeah, well, that's exactly right. And sorry, guys. It had to hit me sooner or later, I suppose, while I was on mic. But it's you can look at some races and you see particular guys, and they might have a bit of a run of bad luck, and they'll get into a couple of incidents. When you see the same guys running consistently green, and they're going from like 20 something to 9th, or and they're no incidents, no caution periods. It shows these guys can drive. It's just that sometimes you get yourself in a situation where little things happen, mistakes are made, And sometimes it's just an on-track incident. It's unavoidable. At the moment, we've got 3 guys going hammer and tong here at the moment. I believe that's Ruben Phelps, Brad Allison in ahead of them, and I think that's Aiden Schultz there.
Adam Malone, mate.
That's Adam Malone on the outside. As they get a little bit close there, Adam's right all over the back of Ruben Phelps. So this is going to be interesting. And I'm just taking a look at the situation. I believe they are actually racing for position. So Adam's giving it all he's got out there at the moment and not wanting to get on the back too closely of Ruben. They've both had a very clean run tonight, and I'm sure they both want to keep it going that way.
Yeah, definitely. And the good news is Paul Drady's back in the race.
Oh, well, that's good to see Paul get in and finish. I mean, although at the point that he did drop out through that technical issue, he would have picked up points anyway.
Yeah, he definitely would have. But as the owner of the league, I think I'm going to have to start thinking about changing these bonus points and taking this 0x bonus point out.
Up the front there, Dyson's really cleared out on this run. 7.5 seconds to Douglas. He's really pulling away now, dropping the hammer.
Yeah, I got a feeling Dyso's made his decision, and when he did that last pit stop, that was going to be the last one. I think he decided it before that pit stop. He just wanted to situate it, time it so that it came when he had enough laps left that he could actually say, that's it, I've got fresh rubber, I've got enough fuel, I'm out of here. And he was just going to finish the race from there. So very good to see Dyson, Douglas and Foster at the front and on such a clean race. There's a little bit of a gap there. It's going to be interesting to see what Foster can do with that.
Yeah, Foster's chasing Douglas down, so we might ride on board here for a bit and just see if he's able to get the pass done. He's been slowly catching Douglas here, so I do expect him to make the pass very soon.
And you can see the visible gap between the top 3 cars there at the moment, so that's a great view, Matt. That gap visibly closer between Foster and the back of Dave Douglas's car, and Dave's going to have his hands full. This will play right into Andrew Dyson's hands because Dave's going to be having to fight off Edward. Knowing Edward's got a bit of pace there at the moment, because what that's going to do is give Andrew Dyson a chance to open the gap up between first and second even further while these two battle for that second position.
Indeed, and there's a little bit of lap traffic up there ahead of Dave as well, so that could be a factor.
Yeah, we've got, what are they, the SBR Racing, I think they're called.
Edward's not wasting any time, gets it in there. He got a massive run on that front straight there, and he's cleared.
He's just gone for it. He's taken the opportunity when I think Dave was in a little bit two minds to figure out what the 83 car was going to do, and Edward just said, I'm going the inside and I want the spot, and that was that, and he just went for it. Dave Douglas now has gotten past that 83 car, and the 83 car has actually got Brad Allison all over the back of him now.
I don't know if that's for position though.
I don't think it's position. I think
Brad's 3 laps down, Matthew Raymond's 2 laps down. Yeah. So
that's what I was thinking.
It was really good on the in-car audio. You could see the RPM of Foster's car. When he went to make that pass, he got in the draft, he got a good strong run, and the RPM was up about 300-400 more than it was the previous lap. So he really had a big strong draft and just put it into the inside there. And Dave was well aware of it, expecting it, and wasn't any problem.
With about 22 laps to go, Edward knows he'll know exactly how he needs to drive the car to get it home. But he's got to catch Andrew Dyson, and I think Dyso's managed to open up a pretty decent gap there while all that was going on.
Yeah, I think barring any mistake, I think Andrew will be pretty safe on this one in terms of I don't think Foster can chase him down. in 21 laps, 20 laps. Yeah, I don't think he's going to be able to chase him down.
And looking at the way that Daiso's driving at the moment, he's being a little bit conservative, which of course is going to mean that if somebody does get within a reasonable distance of him and viewable in the rear view mirror, he can push it a little bit harder because he's not pushing the tyres overly hard at the moment. So he'll still have some reasonable rubber under that car to get some more pace out of it if he needs to. But until then, he's just going to keep driving it the way he's driving it just to get towards the end. And he'll open that up all the way if he needs to, if Edward gets close enough for him to see him.
Yeah, with an 8-second lead, it pays to, back it back a little bit and save your tyres and your car. And then, as you say, if somebody does manage to get back up on you, then you can put the foot down again and use up that bit that you've saved of the car and hopefully pull away. And hopefully the other guy's used up all of his stuff trying to get to you, and then you're able to just pull away.
Well, another viewpoint on the green flag racing, and there being no incidents to this point, no cautions. Is Abigail Foster's just posted up there that she can live with the green flag racing because if there's an incident, it might involve her driver, and that of course is something you don't want to see. I mean, it's all very well and nice to see an incident and that advantages the person you're following. But if he's involved in it, that's not much good.
No.
And I can tell you now, the last couple of weeks, Steve, Ed's been the unlucky, probably one of the unluckiest drivers in the series at the moment. He's got caught up in an incident the other week that it was completely out of his control. He made a boo-boo last week and brushed the fence. So he'd be absolutely wrapped that he can get through this tonight unscathed.
Yeah, sorry, mate. I was listening. I just wasn't able to really talk. I finished bringing up a lung.
Just seeing the battle for fifth heat up a bit, yeah.
Yeah, the one.
Sorry, mate. You go.
No, I was just going to check on Brad because he's still a long way down, but he's
3 laps down.
Yeah, 3 laps down. But I was just looking at his time. He's not circulating much slower than Dyson, so he's one of the quickest out there in the field at the moment. But unfortunately for him, he's now showing 2 laps down. So unfortunately for him, there's ain't enough laps to get himself unlapped.
No, he's got an extra pit stop there as well, so I think he's got fresher tyres than most of the field as well, so that might be why we're seeing a speed difference.
I'll tell you, I know there was a boo-boo in one of his pit stops.
Well, that man there that's just been passed by Edward Foster is sitting 5th place. Now, that will actually have put him 2 laps down, I believe. He's registering as 1 lap down. That's Justin Witcher. And he's the man that will benefit most from a caution coming out anytime shortly with 15 laps to go, because the chances are he would get the lap back. But did Edward just put a 2nd lap on him, which puts him 2 laps down? It's not updated on the driver stats and stuff at the moment.
No, it's still just the 1 lap down. Dyson's put them the 1 lap down, but that means that Foster, the 2nd place car, is now 1 lap ahead of him as well.
And O'Shea is on the lead lap, and that makes Dyson 1st, Foster 2nd, Douglas 3rd, and O'Shea on 4th on the lead lap, with Witcher in 5th, 1 lap down.
And you can see the gap there, that O'Shea in the 019 sort of purplish car there, and Dyson in the 41 in orange. If that orange 41 passes, that is putting him a lap down, so O'Shea is in 4th spot and Dyson's obviously in 1st, but if he gets past, it puts him a lap down.
So that's the thing. I mean, Daiso will actually drive according to where second place is and how much of a threat he is. But he may very well try and stay right behind O'Shea to keep him on the lead lap as it's his teammate. It's going to be interesting to see. Is that a decision that he'll make or not, you know?
Yeah, I think so. I think with 12 laps to go, I think he will probably look at just riding there behind his teammate, and if there is a caution, that means his teammate will still be on the lead lap as well.
Yeah, I mean, Foster's now more than, nearly 8.5 seconds, more than 8.5 seconds. That's climbing. Has Edwards actually got loose somewhere around the track?
Not sure, but Dyson's gone past O'Shea now.
Yeah, so he's passed him, so that doesn't need to worry about that decision. Norman Clark's a bit of a monkey in the wrench there, pardon the pun, but he's going to see if he can make a move on O'Shea, although I believe Norman's a couple of laps down.
Yeah, that's right. Norman's 2 laps down there.
So at this point, I'd say O'Shea will just simply follow Dyson and take the 4th place and grab the points. There's not much he can do about Dave Douglas, who's probably, he's at least a lap up on him now or more. And then Foster in second, 8 seconds off the lead. And Dyson holding that 1st place pretty well. There's Dave Douglas side by side with Tristan Koch. Dave not making any silly moves there. He's not racing Tristan for position. He knows that he's, at the moment, pretty safe for a 3rd spot, which is going to give him good points in the Triple Crown and good points in the overall Next Gen Cup for Weekend Warriors. That's going to be a good position with only 9 laps to go.
Just having a look through the field again. This is a close battle here for the top 10 spot. Adam Malone in the number 3 car, under threat by Jamie Nankervis in the number 8 car. And Adam is currently in 10th. Jamie is trying to take 10th away. And it's always a little bit of an extra carrot dangling there. Always good to sort of get in the top 10, and if you can. You hate being like 11th or 12th or 13th.
But Nankervis has now made that move, so he's back up into 10th. Adam Malone won't give up on it though, and he's right up behind Nankervis again, and moves to the inside to make the move and try and take the spot back again.
Both drivers giving each other plenty of space here, which is great to see. Let's see if Nankervis can use that high line run to use that extra momentum.
Malone's going to have a bit of a problem here with one of the, I think it's the SBR racing team. It's Noddy Tompkins' team. And it's one of those cars. Now they've gone single file as Malone takes that spot back away from Nankervis.
Yeah, Nankervis just wasn't able to get the pass done. So he'll probably go back and have another crack as we get down to 5 laps to go.
So here's the danger point, ladies and gentlemen. Can we get through these 5 laps with the same situation as we've had for 258 laps, which is green? Green flags from start to finish. Let's hope they can keep this going. I'd like to see it that way, actually, to be honest. So we see Mark Smith and Stephen Williams nose to tail there at the moment.
Yeah, there's a little bit of action going on. There's battles 6th and 8th and 10th.
And I think that's Noddy Tompkins in behind him. His teammate, Matt Raymond, is actually further up the track, I believe.
Yeah, but both Noddy and Matty Raymond are showing 2 laps down. So they're not really going to be a factor in this. I think Noddy will just be riding around, keeping out of the way.
If you really want to see what impact it does doing 200 and 63 laps under green with green flag pit stops. There's a guy sitting there in 15th and 2 laps down, and it's amazing to see his name that far down, and that's Mr. Darren McKenzie, who's wearing the number 1 because he's the defending champion on this series.
As he just goes down another lap, unfortunately. Getting down to 2 laps to go.
And now we're down to 2 laps to go. We're registering, and I'd say that these guys really just need to hold their positions, don't do anything crazy, and we'll see Andrew Dyson, then Edward Foster, and then Dave Douglas. There's just too much of a gap between the top 3 to expect any last lap battles there, I think.
Indeed, I think this is going to be the only last lap battle here between these two, but I will cut away for Dyson. I don't know if they're going to be able to get this. Mark Smith's going to be able to get Steve Williams. And,
yeah, I don't know whether he's going to get him in the space that's in the time that he's got. But another good drive from Mark Smith. He's brought that home in the 9th position, even though he's a lap down.
As Dyson comes across the finish line to take the win. Comes Foster. Dave Douglas in 3rd, coming through. And Mark Smith's still stuck behind the 98 there of Stephen Williams. Just can't quite get the run off the corner. Good finish nonetheless.
So great drive from.
Oh. Don't know if he cut out there. But yeah, that was a good run from Dyson there. Clearing away there on that last run to be 8.3 seconds. As he's
263 laps, green racing, 0 incidents. Excellent stuff in the Weekend Warriors Next Gen Cup race and or Cup Series, and round 1 of the Triple Crown Sub Series, and that one's sponsored by Inside Lane Productions, and Dyso trying to smoke it up there against the wall in the static, but he's just not getting a whole lot of smoke off those tyres.
No, it's not smoking up very much. There we are, it's a little bit there now.
Yeah, a little bit better. I had a mate in a Valiant panel band many years ago at a Chrysler show, and he did a great burnout, but there was not a wisp of smoke off it. We asked him where he got the smokeless burnout tyres from.
All right, I think while we're waiting for everybody to sort of jump into the interview room, I will chuck up the results and we'll run through those.
No worries. I may even step away, gentlemen. I'll leave you with the post-race interviews, and thanks very much for having me in the commentary box again tonight. Thanks to everybody who was watching. Thanks for the interaction and the live chat and everything. Abigail and Neil Pearson and Addison and everybody else who was in there. And thanks for having me in the commentary box tonight again, Matt and Mark.
A pleasure, mate.
No worries, thank
Thanks
you.
for jumping in at the last minute.
No, not a problem at all. I'll catch up with you later.
Yep. All right, so race results. Home first, Andrew Dyson's for simrigs.com, DPR. Second, Ed Foster. Third, Dave Douglas. Fourth, Dylan O'Shea. Fifth, Justin Witcher. Sixth, Aidan Schultz. Aidan Schultz. Sixth, Ruben Phelps. 7th, Ruben Phelps. I can't even read tonight. 8th, Stephen Williams. 9th, Mark Smith. 10th, Jamie Nankervis. 11th, Adam Malone. 12th, Norman Clark. 13th, Matthew Raymond. 14th, Nobby Tompkins. 15th, Darren McKenzie. 16th, Brad Allison. 17th, Brad Finley. 18th, Kobe Jordan. 19th, Adam Ariel. 20th, Tristan Koch. I'll let you finish off, Matt.
Cool. And in 21st we had Paul Drady. In 22nd we had Michael Skurlock. 23rd was Derek Jacobs. 24th Brett Campbell. 25th Mark Johansson. 26th Christopher Tomlin, and 27th was Peter Gretton.
Well, what a race! 263 laps of green flag racing. It's not every day you see that.
Indeed, yeah, very good long run. Well, very good race. Obviously, it's just one big long run, really. Yeah, very good.
Yeah. Well, we've got our 3 place getters in the green room, so we'll pull Dave up to have a chat with him, our 3rd place getter. Hey, Dave, welcome to the commentary booth, mate. Congratulations on 3rd place.
Hey, thanks, Mark. Yeah, it was a long, old, tough race, mate. Top 3 on only on the lead lap, so yeah, it was a interesting one, that's for sure.
Yeah, we were commentating about that, and we said that the main cause of that was the green flag pit stops. Well, everything on the green flag tonight.
Yeah, well, that's it. I mean, I guess you can say you earned it then. Green flags, there's no lucky caution, no lucky tyre strategy. It's just flat out racing. So when you come after, 260 odd laps worth of racing and come home 3rd to the guys ahead, you know you've earned it then, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. Mate, you're starting to have a good run with us in the Warriors Championship. Any reason why some of the luck's turned around, and have you been doing some practice, or you're just getting a lot more used to this car?
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I'm doing pretty good in everything but Anscar for some reason. So, but I also chose to run on my own tonight because I'm finding that when I'm not with a group of people chattering away or whatever in the same Discord, I actually put a bit of effort in. Whereas I tend to lapse the concentration a little bit if I'm talking about something else. Whereas Skirley's opposite. Skirlock can talk so much crap through the whole race, and he feeds off it and goes faster.
How'd you find your tyre wear tonight? Were you at the end of your stints? Were your tyres worn out, or?
No, I thought they were pretty good. Like the right front was 75 pretty much every stint, which I thought was pretty good. And I don't know, like I'd have the pace, but in the middle of it, like in the early run, I'd have the pace. In the middle of the stint, for some reason, that's where I would lose the time a little bit. But then by the end of the stint, I'd still have a bit of the life left in them. And that's where I sort of just worked away at Dylan O'Shea there for most of that first half of the race, and I found that's where I sort of come good. But I felt the tyre wear wasn't too bad, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, mate, that's done well for your championship. You going into the start of this round, you're in 21st position, so it's 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 going to move you up in the championship,
Yeah,
and
that,
put you in the good stead for the other 2 rounds of the Triple Crown.
well, that's it, mate. That's. I mean, 21st isn't anything to be happy about, but at least I'll hopefully be in the top 20, so I'll be able to join the service straight away instead of waiting 10 minutes. But yeah, I guess I want to consolidate points for the Triple Crown and hopefully win something this year. Hopefully.
Actually, it'd be good if I look at the right championship, wouldn't it? I'm looking at the 87s.
Oh,
I've
okay, I'll probably be even worse in this one then.
Where are you? Actually, let's go back to the 87s and have a look at that again.
Yeah, that's it. Exactly right. Exactly. That's it. Though I do a lot of camping, so I can't get to every race. But like you said, to put on the Triple Crown, and that's an opportunity. It's a little championship within a championship. So I'll see if I can give Daiso a run for his money.
Yeah, definitely. Well, mate, before we let you go, shout out to your sponsors and our supporters and anyone else you'd like to say hello to.
Just a shout out to obviously the BMX Bandits, Skirly, Lukey, and Mirko. Shout out to you, Mark, and what you do here with Weekend Warriors. Put on a good show. It's a long championship. It's a lot of work goes into it. So congratulations to you, and obviously you're doing a lot of other bits and pieces here as well, keep us all entertained. So, just a big thank you to you, Mark, and the guys for putting on a broadcast.
Yeah, got to definitely shout out to Matt for jumping in at the last moment and broadcasting tonight. So
Yeah, Matty, legend.
all right,
No
mate.
worries.
Well, congratulations on third place, and will we see you back next week for the retro round at Darlington?
Oh, yeah, I'll be 50-50, mate.
Yeah, no worries, mate. Well, again, congratulations and thanks for your time tonight, mate.
Too easy. Cheers, boys.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Dave Douglas, our third place getter. A very, very good driver when he's on the money. Home second tonight was none other than Mr. Foster. Welcome to the broadcast booth, mate, and congratulations on second place.
Yeah, that was a long one. Yeah, no, it's all right in the end, though.
Well, mate, you did say you like the longer races.
Yeah, no kidding. But yeah, 260 odd laps under green's a bit excessive. But got there at the end.
Well, no one won the money up in the broadcast booth because we were all saying the second half of the race we reckon we'd see a few cautions, and everyone just behaved themselves. Some great racing throughout the field. Of course, you didn't see it. Some great close battles further back in the field, mate.
No, I didn't see it.
Same question as I asked Dave. How did you find your tyre wear tonight and the setup of the car?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know if it's like been the most recent update to the cars or what, but something's just not clicking for me in these things at the minute. It was all right when the sun was out and the track was a bit slick, and you could kind of get the thing to rotate. But when the night came in, and then the track ripped up, car started to push a bit, and I used to go all right with the old style car when it was tight, but I cannot drive this thing when it goes tight. Like, I just can't. I can't break the rear end loose. I can't do any of the things I'm sort of used to doing. It just doesn't respond to that. So yeah, I've got to figure out a better way because it's just not clicking for me at the minute. Especially in the second half of the race, as you were saying.
Yeah. Well, mate, the one good thing is that you've been able to stay out of trouble tonight. The last couple of races, both with us and Ann's car, you've had nothing but problems. Finding the war and having a disagreement with teammates and others. So, mate, let's hope your luck's changed from tonight.
Well, I mean, for a start, none of it's luck. I mean, I made two mistakes in Ann's car, and then somebody else made a mistake in the second one. So, but I don't think things have been going too badly in this series. I think the last time I had a wreck in this series was way back in Pocono. So yeah, I mean, everything's been going pretty smooth in this one. Was obviously wanting to chase Daiso down, make a bit more of a race of it. He managed to extend those stints a little bit to give himself a little bit bigger tyre advantage every single time, and managed to make that pay off. And like I say after the sun went down, I just found I wasn't able to turn the car. So but I mean the races that I've been in this series have been pretty clean.
Yeah, I'm getting too confused. Too many races through the week, being tired, are all rolling into one. And I guess you're starting to feel this a little bit the same way with such long races, as you said, 263 laps around here, green flag. That's a long race.
Yeah, I was kind of in a bit of a chat room there with Skirley and Justin Witcher and Norman and Noddy, Matty Ray and stuff like that. So we were all sort of chatting amongst ourselves, and I managed to pass the time a little bit. But certainly I could have used a caution or two to spice it up. I mean, I guess that's good from the point of view of everybody's getting clean racing and you're getting I guess what you call an honest result. But look, I certainly wouldn't have been upset to see 2 or 3 cautions in there.
Give your arms a bit of a break and have a chance to grab a drink.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah. Well, mate, we're off to Darlington next week for the retro round. What are you looking for there? Another good clean race. What is it? Only 220 laps next week.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'll be trying to win it, but if you can't win, be second. If you can't be second, be third. I guess so. It's just we'll see how it winds up. I usually go all right around there. I do like that track. I tend to like the old school tracks, but it all depends on the way this car sort of goes. Like, whether it wants to turn or not. So if it wants to turn, we'll be fine. If it doesn't, we might be in for another tough one. But yeah, we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, well, I'll let you into a bit of a hint. It's a night race again, all
Okay, so we're just going to push. Okay, great.
right? Well, mate, before we let you go, shout out to your sponsors and thanks to anyone.
Yeah, I guess, thanks to everyone for showing up. It's always good to have people to race against. You don't want to be out there with 2 or 3 cars, so we get a nice strong field. So that's great. You guys for jumping in on the commentary there, and HAD and Fully Floored.
All right, mate. Thanks very much for your time and congratulations on second place tonight.
Thanks a lot.
Okay, thanks, mate. Well, Matt, there you go. Another happy person that was looking for a few stop goes.
Yeah, it's I think most of the drivers were hanging out for a caution, that's for sure.
Yeah, I think a lot of them would have been praying for a caution towards the end there. Anyway, right now we're joined in the booth by Mr. Andrew Dyson, race winner for tonight. Congratulations, Andrew, on the yet another race win, number 7 for the season.
Yeah, nice. That's pretty cool. Hey guys, how you going?
Good, mate. Good. Mate, use the same question as the other guys. How'd you find your tyre wear and the setup in the car tonight?
Tyre there wasn't too bad. It was definitely more on the front tyre that the car was leaning on, because it got pretty tight as the race went on. And it made it a little trickier to keep the front tyre alive, but it wasn't too bad.
Yeah, definitely. Mate, you've put yourself into a good spot for the Triple Crown. Double points in the championship, so that's going to move you now definitely up into the top 10 of the championship. So a good solid run. In a couple more weeks, we might see you up in the top 5.
Yeah, I'm not sure, man. It just depends how much I can rock up and whether I do any well or not, any good or not. But is there any drop rounds in this? Because I think that's probably what I'm going to need to get myself anywhere near having a go.
No, we don't drop rounds, unfortunately. It's something that the drivers have all said no, they don't want. So the 35 rounds count.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I think that's really the only thing that's going to get me in any sort of chance for contention. But I'll keep rolling up when I can and just trying to have a good race with all the boys.
Yeah. Well, mate, it was a lesson in how to drive these things tonight. I think that you lapped everyone up to 4th place. Kept your teammate there in front of you, or did I can't remember. Did you get past Dylan?
No, it was funny. I did actually. With about 20 laps to go, I said, "Oh, you're only 4 seconds in front, man." And I'm like, "Oh, I'm going to catch you." And then it was like 20 laps to go. I'm like, "Oh, it's only 19 for you." And he's laughing. Like, so anyway, eventually I passed him. Had a bit of a laugh about it.
Yeah. Well, mate, congratulations on the win tonight. Leading the Triple Crown. The next round is at Indy in a month or 2. So it's a good start to the Triple Crown for you.
Yeah, that's cool, man. I think I looked at it earlier. It looks like one of the races is Talladega, and we know how those races can be. It's pack racing. Anyone can take it. So, but Indy, I like Indy, so my chances might be okay. But again, it's anyone's game.
Yeah, definitely. All right, mate. Before we let you go, shout out to your sponsors and any thanks you'd like to.
Oh, just thanks to Matt for jumping in and getting on board with this tonight and putting on a broadcast. That's really cool. Good to see. Thanks to yourself for putting this on this whole show and all the rest of the admins that probably don't really get much of a shout out behind the scenes at Weekend Warriors for helping out and doing all those cool things they do to put these races on. And just a quick shout out to Simrix.com and South Wilson Hoists, Max Mechanical, and MP Designs for and Phoenix Smokers for getting behind us and making our cars look cool.
Yeah, they do look good. The different colours, the similar layout but different colours, and they do look good, mate. So it's a credit to you and your team.
Oh, it's a credit to Neil Pearson. He's the one who does it, so he'll be wrapped if I tell him that. Thanks, man.
No worries, mate. Next week, Darlington, the retro round. What do you think your chances are there?
I like Darlington. It's a good track. Everyone that raced, everyone that normally races in this series is pretty fast there in NASCAR, so it should be a good race.
Yeah, we was discussing that earlier. The level of racing in both leagues has really stepped up this year. And like last year, you'd say with us there'd probably be 4 or 5 cars that could win. Probably the same with NASCAR. But now you turn up the race and it's just like, wow, there's 15 guys here that can win this race.
Yeah, man, absolutely. And just to show like how much better it is at the moment. Both leagues are getting through races with much less caution periods. So that's that reflects great on all the drivers really. So it's really cool.
Yeah, well, I mean to say the credit showed 2 weeks ago at North Wilkesboro, 154 laps around there without a caution. I was starting to think maybe we should have left North Wilkesboro out of the calendar, but it was probably one of the better races of the season.
Yeah, it was a good race. I was getting dizzy when we didn't get a caution for a while though, because those corners come up on you pretty quick and the laps go pretty fast. But no, that was a good fun race.
Yeah, definitely. All right, mate. Well, thanks for your time. Congratulations on the win tonight and showing some people how to drive a next gen NASCAR.
Oh, maybe just for tonight, but yeah, thanks guys. I'll hopefully get jump in next week and see what we can do.
All right, mate. Thanks for your time, and we'll see you next week.
All right, see you, mate.
See ya. Well, Matt, there you go. Another round over. Round 19 done and dusted. And the Triple Crown is well underway with some good racing.
Yeah, very interesting start to the Triple Crown there with a full length green flag run. Had no cautions, so yeah, great to see and a very good start.
Yeah, definitely. Before we shut things down, thank you to everyone that's joined in tonight. Again, thank you to Steve for jumping in at the last moment. It wasn't until about 5 o'clock tonight that he realised he would be able to do the call for us. Again, you, Matt, yourself, thanks for your effort and your artwork and your displays on the broadcast. But most of all, thanks for jumping in and doing the broadcast for us tonight.
No worries, no problem.
And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for tuning in. Keep an eye out on our Facebook page and Discord and our webpage, www.weekendwarriorsascc.com for who's going to be broadcasting next week's retro round. I'm Mark Johansson, and that was Matt Hunter. We're along with Steve, signing off for the night, and stay safe until next